To see someone's true character. Notice only 5 things. Stoicism. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life. Before you think about skipping ahead, let me ask you something. How well do you really know the people around you, or even yourself? What I'm about to share isn't just another quick list of personality tests or surface-level tips. It's a deep dive into ancient Stoic wisdom, a philosophy so profound that it's shaped the way people understand human nature for over 2,000 years. Today, we're exploring 5 key observations, simple yet incredibly powerful, that can uncover a person's true character. And yes, these principles are just as relevant in our fast-paced modern world as they were in the age of Marcus Aurelius. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and prepare to rethink what it means to truly understand someone. These 5 timeless principles won't just transform the way you see others. They'll challenge you to live with greater clarity, integrity, and wisdom. Let's dive in and uncover the truth about human character through the lens of Stoicism. Number 1. Treating those who can't help. Unveiling a person's true character has long been a subject of fascination and contemplation, both in philosophy and in daily life. One of the most telling ways to understand someone's inner values is to observe how they treat people who hold no power over them or offer no clear benefit in return. This principle is central to Stoic philosophy, with Seneca famously advising, "Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you." These interactions strip away the masks people wear to impress, revealing whether their kindness is genuine or merely a strategic tool. In an increasingly transactional world, this lens offers a timeless way to assess not just others, but also ourselves. At the heart of this concept lies the way people interact with service workers, subordinates, or strangers. A genuine smile, a heartfelt "thank you," or a simple gesture of acknowledgement to someone delivering a meal or ringing up groceries may seem inconsequential. Yet these small acts carry immense weight, reflecting a person's respect for shared humanity. When a person holds the door for a stranger or offers to help someone struggling with their bags, they demonstrate a level of compassion and selflessness that transcends societal norms. On the other hand, someone who dismisses these individuals with irritation or indifference exposes a deeper truth about their character, one rooted in arrogance, entitlement, or a lack of empathy. Accidental, everyday interactions also serve as subtle but profound tests of character. Imagine someone walking briskly through a crowded street and being bumped into by an elderly individual. The compassionate response might be a reassuring smile or a soft, "no worries," while the impatient individual might react with annoyance or even aggression. These unscripted moments of inconvenience provide a rare, unfiltered glimpse into how a person truly views others. Are they quick to assume malice, or do they extend the benefit of the doubt? This is where modern Stoicism provides a valuable framework, recognizing that we cannot control what happens to us but can always control how we respond. These responses reflect the values guiding our behavior and our ability to live harmoniously with others. Another revealing dimension lies in how someone interacts with vulnerable groups, such as the homeless or marginalized communities. The act of stopping to offer spare change, a warm greeting, or even a moment of acknowledgement requires no great effort, yet it demonstrates a profound sense of humanity. Ignoring or dismissing such individuals, however, often signals a deeper disconnection from the shared struggles of life. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive, injures the bee." The Stoic understanding of our interconnectedness suggests that when we fail to respect and uplift others, we harm ourselves as well. Extending kindness in these moments not only benefits the recipient, but also reinforces the giver's own sense of moral integrity. These small, consistent acts of kindness ripple outward. While grand gestures often receive the most recognition, it is the quiet, unnoticed moments of humanity that build trust, inspire others, and reflect the true moral character of a person. The individual who consistently treats others with dignity, regardless of their social or economic status, is one who embodies the virtues central to modern Stoicism. They act not because they seek recognition or reward, but because they believe in the inherent worth of others. This quiet consistency is a reflection of their inner values, not external circumstances. Their kindness, like a steady flame, illuminates not just their character but also the lives of those they touch. In today's fast-paced and often self-centered world, these principles are more relevant than ever. Helping a janitor clean up a spill, or pausing to listen to a stranger in distress might not earn public applause, yet these moments reflect an authentic moral compass. As Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In this way, the practice of kindness is not about display, but about living in alignment with one's values. Cultivating this awareness in ourselves requires ongoing reflection and effort. How do we treat those who cannot offer us anything in return? Are we polite and considerate toward service workers, patient with others during moments of inconvenience, and compassionate toward those in need? These questions are not merely rhetorical. They challenge us to examine our behavior and align it with our principles. Modern Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within our control, our actions, our words, and our attitude, while letting go of the desire for external validation. When we treat others with dignity and kindness, we cultivate not only a good reputation but also inner peace. The lesson here is timeless and universal. The way someone treats people who can neither help nor harm them is the truest measure of their character. This principle is as applicable in the workplace as it is in personal life. Consider a leader who consistently respects their employees, listens to their concerns, and fosters a positive environment, even when no one is watching. The goal is not just to judge others, but to use these observations as a guide for self-improvement. By striving to treat everyone with fairness and respect, we become role models in our own right, demonstrating the kind of character that Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius championed. As modern Stoicism teaches, the pursuit of virtue is a lifelong journey, one marked by the daily choices we make in our interactions with others. These choices, no matter how small, define the legacy we leave behind. In embracing these lessons, we create a ripple effect of positivity that transcends individual interactions. By consistently practicing kindness, empathy, and respect, we contribute to a more harmonious world. True character, after all, is not about what we say, but about what we do when no one is watching. It is through these actions that we find meaning and purpose, not only in our own lives, but in the broader fabric of humanity. Such is the enduring wisdom of Stoicism, offering a guide not only for evaluating others but for living with integrity, compassion, and resilience. Number 2, handling minor inconveniences. How we respond to minor inconveniences in life, those everyday irritations like slow traffic, misplaced items, or a delayed coffee order, provides a profound window into our true character. These moments, often dismissed as trivial, are significant in revealing the depth of our emotional resilience and self-control. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This enduring Stoic principle holds a mirror to our instincts, offering unguarded glimpses of who we truly are when faced with life's smaller disruptions. In many ways, these small moments test our ability to embody patience, adaptability, and understanding, the cornerstones of modern Stoicism. The rawness of our reactions to minor inconveniences lays bare our authentic selves, as they often occur without conscious thought. Consider the individual whose meal arrives slightly cold at a restaurant. One person might berate the server, venting frustration, while another calmly requests a solution. The difference is striking, showing the former's lack of self-regulation and the latter's composed demeanor. Similarly, during a traffic jam, one driver may blare their horn in anger, spreading tension to everyone around them, while another might use the delay to listen to an enlightening podcast, meditate, or simply practice acceptance. These scenarios demonstrate that how we handle the small inconveniences of life often matters more than the grand gestures of calmness we exhibit in planned situations, where maintaining a composed facade is easier. Work environments also amplify the significance of handling minor setbacks. Imagine a technical glitch or a delayed email response. Does the person in question escalate the problem with frustration, or do they pause to consider actionable solutions? The one who reacts calmly not only resolves the issue more efficiently, but also sets a tone of collaboration and understanding within their team. These reactions ripple outward, impacting workplace culture and interpersonal dynamics. A composed response fosters harmony, while a short-tempered reaction creates unnecessary tension, underscoring the Stoic idea that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, as Marcus Aurelius observed. The beauty of these moments is that they are opportunities for growth. Handling life's minor disruptions with grace signals an ability to adapt, a key trait of resilience. A person who smiles and accepts the wrong coffee order, perhaps even using the opportunity to thank the barista, demonstrates inner peace and the wisdom to prioritize their emotional well-being over fleeting frustrations. Such actions show maturity and emotional intelligence, the hallmark of modern Stoicism in practice. By reframing inconveniences as challenges to overcome rather than annoyances to endure, individuals cultivate a mindset that values calm over chaos and action over reaction. Conversely, poor handling of minor irritations often creates a negative ripple effect. Someone who explodes in anger over slow internet speeds may inadvertently sour the mood of everyone around them. These knee-jerk reactions betray an inability to regulate emotions, which can erode relationships and increase personal stress. Worse still, they can make small issues feel disproportionately large, pulling us further from the equanimity the Stoics so highly regarded. Seneca's advice is poignant here. A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is. Dwelling on inconveniences magnifies their impact, while choosing to rise above them diminishes their hold over us. Minor inconveniences are not just challenges, but also mirrors reflecting our inner world. They reveal how we cope with life's unpredictability and show whether we bring peace or discord into our daily interactions. Handling these moments with patience, positivity, and emotional control is not just about preserving our own serenity, but also about creating a more harmonious environment for others. When we choose calm over chaos, we inspire those around us to do the same, embodying the Stoic ideal of being a calm harbor in the storms of daily life. This strength of character, practiced consistently, transforms not just us but also our communities, reminding us that the principles of modern Stoicism are timeless tools for navigating both the monumental and the mundane. Number 3. Time and commitments. One of the most profound ways to uncover someone's true character is to observe how they treat the most precious resource we all possess: time. Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely noted, "We're tight-fisted with property and money, yet think too little of wasting time." This insight underscores a truth that resonates across centuries. How we manage our time reveals our priorities, values, and the depth of our discipline. If you take a moment to watch how someone interacts with their commitments and schedules, you'll begin to see the intricate map of their inner values unfold. Punctuality, for instance, is a simple but powerful indicator. When someone consistently arrives on time, they're sending a clear message. They value their commitments and respect the time of others. Contrast this with the individual who is perpetually late. Chronic tardiness might seem trivial, but it often points to deeper issues: disorganization, a lack of self-awareness, or even an inflated sense of self-importance. Imagine someone showing up to an important event or meeting late, repeatedly inconveniencing others. Their actions silently declare, "My time is more valuable than yours." Would you trust someone with such a mindset? Stoicism teaches us to measure others not by their words, but by their deeds, and how they manage their time is a deed we cannot ignore. Equally telling is how someone handles their commitments, especially under pressure. Think about a colleague or friend who consistently meets deadlines, even when the stakes are high. Their reliability doesn't just demonstrate discipline, it builds trust. Compare this to someone who routinely makes promises they fail to keep, disrupting group dynamics and eroding credibility. In Stoic terms, keeping one's commitments reflects integrity and respect for others, two pillars of strong character. How do the people around you honor their promises, whether in personal relationships or professional settings? Do their actions align with their words? The way someone spends their free time is another window into their soul. Imagine a person who dedicates their weekends to volunteering, spending quality time with loved ones, or pursuing personal growth. Now picture someone else who spends those same hours lost in endless scrolling, binge-watching shows, or indulging in other trivial distractions. While leisure and relaxation are essential, excessive time wasted on unproductive pursuits often reflects a lack of direction or purpose. Stoicism reminds us to use our time wisely, treating it as a gift, not to be squandered. What do your own habits say about your priorities? How might you shift them to align more closely with your values? Time management isn't just about self-discipline, it's also a measure of empathy. A person who respects the time of others demonstrates fairness and consideration. Think about a professional who arrives prepared for meetings, sticking to schedules and avoiding unnecessary delays. Their actions show a clear acknowledgement of the collective effort required to work efficiently. On the other hand, those who waste others' time through poor preparation or a lack of accountability highlight a selfish disregard for shared efforts. How do you balance your own needs with the needs of others when it comes to time? Flexibility, too, plays a crucial role. Life is unpredictable, and even the best laid plans can go awry. Here, the Stoic secret lies in adaptability. How someone reacts to unexpected disruptions can be incredibly revealing. A person who handles last-minute changes with calm and grace demonstrates emotional resilience and a balanced outlook, while someone who falls apart at the first sign of trouble may struggle to navigate life's inevitable uncertainties. Picture two friends planning a trip. When the itinerary falls through, one calmly suggests alternatives while the other spirals into frustration. Which one would you rather rely on? Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control while acting wisely within the sphere of what we can. Observing someone's relationship with time is like looking through a window into their character. Do they prioritize what truly matters? Are they reliable, considerate, and adaptable? Time, as the Stoics remind us, is a finite resource. Once spent, it cannot be recovered. Those who manage it wisely demonstrate not only personal maturity, but a profound respect for life itself and the people around them. Ask yourself, how do you treat your time and what does it say about you? By mastering this Stoic secret, you can not only better understand others, but also refine your own approach to life, aligning it with your highest values. After all, as Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. How will you choose to spend the time you have left? Which of the following do you think reveals the most about true personality? Comment 1 for how a person treats people who can't help them, 2 for how they handle minor inconveniences, or 3 for how they value time and commitment. Make sure to watch until the end. There's a surprising insight waiting for you. Number 4. Acting unseen. A person's true character is most vividly revealed in the moments when they believe no one is watching, a notion deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, emphasized that living in harmony with nature and reason requires unwavering consistency, regardless of external scrutiny. This principle underscores that integrity isn't defined by what we do when we are rewarded or punished, but by the actions we take when there are no apparent consequences. For instance, a seemingly mundane act such as returning a shopping cart at a grocery store becomes a litmus test of one's commitment to responsibility. When someone takes the time to place the cart in its proper spot, even in the rain or under pressing circumstances, they demonstrate a profound respect for shared spaces and a dedication to principles over convenience. Conversely, leaving the cart adrift in the parking lot signifies indifference to communal well-being, and an inclination to prioritize personal comfort over collective responsibility. Public spaces often serve as arenas where character is unconsciously displayed. Consider communal areas like break rooms, parks, or other shared environments. A person who cleans up after themselves without needing to be reminded or acknowledged exhibits a sense of accountability and thoughtfulness. This act of tidying up, though minor, signals an understanding that we each play a role in maintaining order and fairness. Neglecting such duties, however, indicates a lack of respect for others and a mindset that disregards the unspoken social contract. Similarly, handling shared resources with care, whether refilling an empty coffee pot in an office or properly disposing of trash, reflects an awareness of how personal actions impact the collective. Honesty in unobserved situations is perhaps one of the purest demonstrations of integrity. When someone finds a wallet or valuable item and chooses to return it or report it, rather than keeping it for personal gain, they act in alignment with a moral compass that transcends immediate self-interest. Such decisions mirror Epictetus's belief that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing honesty in situations where deception might go unnoticed, a person showcases a commitment to virtue. On the other hand, succumbing to dishonesty in the absence of accountability reveals a readiness to compromise ethics for fleeting benefits, undermining the trustworthiness that is central to one's character. Workplace behavior offers another lens through which unseen actions can speak volumes. An employee who consistently meets deadlines, acknowledges the contributions of teammates, and maintains high standards even when a manager isn't watching, exemplifies reliability and inner discipline. Their actions resonate with the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within one's control: effort, diligence, and respect for others. In contrast, those who cut corners, shirk responsibilities, or claim undue credit in unmonitored scenarios reveal a lack of self-motivation and integrity. Such individuals often erode trust, proving themselves inconsistent and unreliable in matters big and small. Small, selfless acts performed without expectation of recognition carry profound meaning and further illuminate true character. Donating anonymously, standing up for someone in distress, or offering help to a stranger without broadcasting the deed reflects an intrinsic commitment to kindness and virtue. These actions align with Marcus Aurelius's assertion that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, a reminder that virtue is its own reward, regardless of whether others acknowledge or repay it. Quiet acts of compassion show that an individual's moral compass is guided not by external validation, but by an unwavering belief in the inherent good. The choices we make in private profoundly shape who we are in public. The habits we form when unobserved, be they acts of kindness, responsibility, or honesty, create a foundation for how we navigate life's broader challenges. Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom, "What we do now echoes in eternity," reminds us that every decision, no matter how small or unseen, contributes to the legacy of our character. By observing how people behave when they believe no one is looking, we uncover their deepest values and priorities. Moreover, these reflections invite us to examine our own unseen actions, challenging us to align our private behavior with the principles we profess in public. In the modern age, where surveillance and social media have transformed public behavior into a performance, the concept of unseen integrity becomes even more critical. Modern Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not defined by likes, followers, or external accolades, but by our ability to remain true to our principles regardless of recognition. Returning the shopping cart, cleaning up after oneself, and honoring commitments in private might seem inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Yet these choices define the fabric of one's character. They remind us that the cultivation of integrity begins with the smallest, most personal decisions, building a foundation for a life guided by virtue. Living with this awareness transforms how we engage with the world. Instead of seeking external validation, we begin to focus on living in alignment with our values, finding satisfaction in knowing we've done the right thing, even when no one is watching. By striving for consistency between our private actions and public persona, we embody the essence of integrity, setting an example for others while fortifying our own sense of self-worth. This alignment, as modern Stoicism suggests, is the cornerstone of a meaningful and virtuous life, one where our actions resonate not only in the moment, but in the enduring impact they leave on ourselves and the world. Number 5. Handling power. Power in all its forms is one of the most revealing tests of character, acting as a mirror that reflects an individual's values, maturity, and sense of responsibility. The Stoics recognize that power magnifies a person's true nature, illuminating their virtues or exposing their flaws. Whether it's the authority of a team leader, the influence wielded in personal relationships, or the subtle power of holding privileged information, how one handles power speaks volumes about their inner strength. Marcus Aurelius, himself an emperor, exemplified this when he wrote, "The true worth of a man is measured by the objects he pursues. Power, when rooted in virtue, uplifts not just the individual but those around them, fostering trust, collaboration, and mutual respect. A person who wields power with humility and service demonstrates leadership of the highest order. Take, for example, a team leader newly entrusted with responsibility. If they prioritize the collective good by engaging with their team, understanding individual strengths, and addressing challenges, they create an environment of empowerment. This builds trust and fosters a culture where every member feels valued and motivated. Modern Stoicism teaches us to view such leadership not as an assertion of dominance but as a service, a chance to elevate others and create harmony. Contrastingly, those who misuse power, whether through belittling others, withholding resources, or asserting control unnecessarily, reveal insecurity masked as authority. Such individuals often equate power with superiority, prioritizing their personal gain over the well-being of others. Their actions sow discord, diminish their credibility, and erode relationships, reinforcing the timeless Stoic insight that no man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Even in seemingly minor contexts, power unveils the essence of character. Consider the subtle influence of holding privileged information. Choosing to share it responsibly or to keep it confidential when necessary shows integrity and respect for others. On the other hand, using that information to gossip, manipulate, or undermine trust highlights a lack of ethical grounding. These small decisions, often unnoticed by the wider world, have profound ripple effects, reinforcing that true character is revealed in moments of subtlety, not spectacle. Compassion in positions of power is another vital measure of character, and it often shines in moments of pressure. A manager faced with a tough decision, for instance, who takes time to listen to differing perspectives and empathize with those affected, shows emotional intelligence and moral clarity. This ability to balance fairness with firmness not only resolves conflicts more effectively, but also inspires respect and loyalty. In modern life, where leadership is frequently equated with assertiveness and decisiveness, such empathy-driven approaches remind us of the importance of humanity in authority. Seneca's words resonate here. He is a great man that can treat his inferiors with kindness, as well as his equals. Power also manifests in personal relationships, where it may seem less obvious but is no less impactful. In friendships, family, or romantic partnerships, moments of influence frequently arise. Do we use those opportunities to uplift, offer support, or nurture the bond? Or do we exploit them for personal gain, manipulating others to achieve our ends? The fairness and consideration with which we approach these interactions build or undermine the trust that forms the foundation of meaningful connections. For instance, in a disagreement with a partner, the ability to handle the situation calmly, avoiding coercion or emotional manipulation, reflects strength of character and emotional maturity. It is in these everyday moments that the principles of modern Stoicism find their deepest resonance, teaching us to act with both wisdom and compassion. Power is neither inherently good nor bad. It is merely a tool whose value depends on how it is wielded. Epictetus's reminder that People are not disturbed by things but by their judgments about things encourages us to reflect on how we perceive and exercise the power we hold. When we view power as a responsibility rather than a privilege, it becomes a force for positive change, a means to uplift others, and a reflection of inner virtue. Observing how someone handles power not only reveals their character, but also challenges us to examine our own actions and intentions. The truest measure of character shines in these moments, when our influence, however great or small, has the potential to either build or destroy. Power, then, is more than a test. It is an opportunity to align our actions with our highest ideals. Those who use it with wisdom, humility, and empathy leave a legacy of trust and inspiration, embodying the best of what modern Stoicism offers in navigating both personal and professional relationships. By observing these behaviors in others and striving to emulate them ourselves, we not only better understand the nature of character but also take a step toward becoming better versions of ourselves, capable of wielding power as a tool for growth, harmony, and service. Applying the 5 observations. Number 1. Assessing others. Understanding someone's true character isn't about their big, staged gestures, but rather the quiet, everyday moments that often go unnoticed. The Stoics teach us that consistent actions in these small, routine interactions reveal far more than any isolated deed. Whether it's observing someone at work, in social settings, or during casual encounters, these patterns can provide powerful insights into their nature. So how can you use these moments to truly assess someone's character? Start by noticing how people treat those who can offer them nothing in return: service workers, custodians, or strangers on the street. A person who acknowledges others with gratitude, politeness, or even a small smile shows kindness and respect for humanity. In contrast, someone who dismisses or mistreats others in these situations often reveals arrogance or a lack of empathy. For example, a friend who consistently thanks waitstaff and engages with them kindly is more likely to be trustworthy than someone who habitually complains or acts entitled. Another way to gauge character is by observing how someone handles minor inconveniences. Imagine standing in a long line with them or facing a slight delay. Do they laugh it off and stay composed, or do they grow irritable and lash out? Stoicism teaches that emotional control is a hallmark of maturity, and those who can maintain their composure under small pressures often display resilience and self-awareness. Consider the last time someone lost their temper over a minor issue, like slow internet. Did their reaction suggest they'd handle life's bigger challenges with grace? Workplaces also provide a revealing view of character. How does a colleague collaborate with others? Do they credit teammates fairly, communicate respectfully, and elevate the group? Or do they dominate conversations and take credit for others' work? Those who engage with humility and generosity are often dependable and self-aware, while those who undermine others or seek the spotlight expose insecurity and ego. Think about the type of person you'd want alongside you during a high-stakes project, someone cooperative or someone self-serving. Social settings offer additional insights. A friend who shows up on time, listens actively, and engages in meaningful conversation signals respect and reliability. Contrast this with someone who frequently interrupts, seems distracted, or consistently arrives late. It often reflects a lack of consideration for others. These patterns, observed over time, reveal deeper truths about priorities and values. A friend who is fully present leaves you feeling valued, whereas someone glued to their phone during your time together may communicate that their attention lies elsewhere. Number 2, personal growth. Personal growth is an inward journey of reflection and outward alignment, where understanding others becomes a mirror for self-improvement. The 5 Stoic-inspired principles, how we treat others, manage inconveniences, value time, act in private, and handle power, are not just tools for assessing others, but guideposts for becoming the best version of ourselves. Epictetus wisely said, It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Growth begins with humility, the willingness to see ourselves as we are, and the courage to improve. These principles are timeless, yet profoundly relevant in modern life, where distractions and external pressures often pull us away from our true values. The first step is to evaluate how you treat people who cannot benefit you. Do you consistently offer kindness and respect to everyone, regardless of their role or status? Small gestures, like thanking a cashier or holding a door open, might seem trivial, but they reveal deeper values. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts," reminds us that the way we treat others reflects the mindset we cultivate. By fostering a habit of treating everyone with dignity, you not only strengthen relationships but also build self-respect, knowing your actions align with your principles. Next, consider how you handle life's small inconveniences, from traffic jams to long lines. These moments test patience and emotional resilience, revealing whether you control your reactions or let minor frustrations dominate your mood. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our perspective and response. As Seneca wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." Reframing these challenges as opportunities to practice grace and mindfulness strengthens your ability to navigate larger difficulties with calm and composure. Time management is another key element of personal growth. Reflect on whether you honor commitments, arrive on time, and respect others' schedules. These actions build trust and demonstrate reliability, showing that you value not just your own time, but also that of others. If time management is an area of struggle, setting clear priorities and creating consistent routines can help you align your actions with your values. Marcus Aurelius's reminder, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," underscores the importance of living intentionally, making the most of the time we have while respecting others' efforts. Private actions are perhaps the most authentic reflection of character. What you do when no one is watching reveals the values you truly live by. Do you act with integrity, honor commitments, and maintain honesty, even when cutting corners might go unnoticed? These small, unseen choices lay the foundation for the person you are in public and during larger challenges. Zeno of Citium's teaching, that living in harmony with nature and reason requires consistency, urges us to align private behavior with public values, creating a life of authenticity and moral strength. How you handle power, no matter how small, speaks volumes about your growth. Power can appear in subtle forms, leading a team, influencing decisions, or guiding others. Do you use power to support and uplift, or let it inflate your ego? True leadership stems from humility and a commitment to serve others. Seneca's observation, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness," reminds us that the responsibility of power lies in self-discipline and empathy. Even small actions like giving credit where it's due or listening attentively demonstrate strong character and build trust. Personal growth is not about achieving perfection, but about making consistent progress. Epictetus reminds us, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means embracing vulnerability and acknowledging flaws as a natural part of growth. By turning these observations inward, you create a framework for intentional self-improvement, where every act of kindness, moment of patience, and commitment to integrity brings you closer to your ideals. In modern Stoicism, the focus is on aligning actions with values, fostering resilience, and rejecting the need for external validation. Each day presents opportunities to practice kindness, patience, honesty, and humility. These small choices shape not just who we are, but the environment we create for others. By committing to this path, you inspire those around you and cultivate a life of purpose, integrity, and fulfillment. Number 3. Leadership. Leadership is not just about managing tasks or achieving goals. It is about shaping character, inspiring others, and creating an environment where people feel valued and empowered. The Stoic principles of respect, composure, time management, integrity, and the wise use of power form the foundation of true leadership. A leader's character is reflected not only in their accomplishments, but also in how they treat others, handle challenges, and uphold values when no one is watching. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely observed, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This timeless truth underscores the impact of a leader's inner discipline on their outer actions and influence. A great leader sets the tone for their team by demonstrating respect for everyone, regardless of position. Imagine a CEO who, after a company event, personally thanks the cleaning staff for their work. Such acts of humility and gratitude foster an atmosphere of mutual respect, inspiring others to follow suit. When leaders model this behavior, they cultivate a workplace culture where kindness and collaboration thrive. On the other hand, a leader who overlooks the contributions of others or only shows respect to higher-ups sends a clear, damaging message about their priorities. Leadership is not about commanding respect, but about earning it through consistent, authentic actions that uplift others. The ability to remain composed during setbacks is another hallmark of exceptional leadership. In any organization, unexpected challenges such as missed deadlines or client rejections are inevitable. A leader who maintains their calm and focuses on solutions creates stability, empowering their team to stay motivated and resourceful. Picture a manager faced with a sudden project failure who reassures their team, identifies the lessons learned, and collaboratively crafts a new strategy. This approach diffuses stress and reinforces trust. Conversely, a leader who panics or reacts with frustration risks demoralizing their team, eroding their confidence and productivity. The Stoic secret lies in practicing emotional control, as Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Time management, often overlooked, is one of the clearest indicators of a leader's discipline and respect for others. A leader who is consistently late, unprepared, or dismissive of others' time undermines their credibility and sets a poor example. In contrast, someone who honors commitments, prepares thoroughly, and ensures meetings are purposeful demonstrates accountability and respect for the team's efforts. Imagine a leader who starts meetings promptly, sticks to the agenda, and follows up on action items. Their behavior not only fosters efficiency, but also shows the team that their time is valued. When leaders value time, they cultivate a culture of discipline and reliability, creating a ripple effect throughout the organization. Integrity in private actions is another essential element of leadership. What a leader does when they think no one is watching speaks volumes about their character. Employees are remarkably perceptive, and they take cues from their leaders' behaviors, both seen and unseen. For instance, a leader who handles confidential information with care or credits team members for their ideas builds trust and loyalty. On the flip side, one who takes credit for others' work or bends ethical boundaries for personal gain destroys morale and credibility. As Seneca reminds us, a good character is the only guarantee of everlasting carefree happiness. Leaders who embody this principle earn the unwavering respect of their team. How a leader handles power reveals the essence of their character. Power is a tool that can either uplift or oppress, depending on how it is wielded. A leader who empowers their team by delegating meaningful tasks, celebrating achievements, and mentoring individuals creates a thriving, innovative environment. Think of a leader who consistently recognizes their team's efforts during meetings or provides growth opportunities for those under their guidance. Such actions build trust and inspire commitment. Conversely, leaders who micromanage, hoard credit, or prioritize their own advancement create a toxic atmosphere that stifles creativity and breeds resentment. Stoic secrets remind us that power magnifies one's inner virtues, or flaws. True leadership, as taught by the Stoics, is not about exercising authority but about serving others with humility, empathy, and resilience. Leaders who apply these principles cultivate workplaces rooted in respect, integrity, and collaboration, where individuals are encouraged to grow and succeed. Ask yourself, how do you treat others when no one is watching? How do you react to setbacks? And how do you use your influence to inspire or discourage? By reflecting on these questions and embracing Stoic principles, you can not only lead with purpose, but also leave a lasting legacy of trust and empowerment. Leadership is not just a role, it is a responsibility to bring out the best in others while striving to be the best version of yourself. Number 4. Personal relationships. Personal relationships are at the heart of a fulfilling life, and they reveal much about our values and priorities. The way we interact with family, friends, or partners showcases our character, especially in everyday moments. According to Stoic philosophy, it's the consistent small acts, more than grand gestures, that create strong bonds and enduring trust. Mutual kindness, for instance, forms the foundation of any relationship. Consider a couple where one partner regularly acknowledges the other's efforts, like saying thank you for a home-cooked meal or helping with daily chores. Such actions may seem small, but they build emotional security over time. Similarly, in friendships, being consistently thoughtful and attentive, even during mundane moments, nurtures reliability and trust. How someone treats others, whether it's a waiter, a cashier, or even a stranger, also offers a glimpse into their capacity for respect and empathy. Would you trust someone who's rude to a server to be considerate when things get tough in your relationship? Handling minor inconveniences together is another way to assess the health of a relationship. Life inevitably throws challenges our way, like a delayed flight, a misplaced item, or a stressful day at work. How do those close to you react in these moments? A friend who lightens the mood with humor, or a partner who stays calm during an argument shows emotional stability and a commitment to the relationship. On the other hand, someone who lashes out or withdraws at the first sign of stress may struggle to maintain balance when larger issues arise. Picture this. You and a friend plan a road trip, but halfway through, the car breaks down. One person jokes, "Adventure starts now," while the other spirals into frustration. Which one would you trust to help weather life's ups and downs? Time management, too, plays a critical role in personal relationships. People who prioritize quality time, even when busy, demonstrate that they value and cherish their connections. Think of a partner who sets aside distractions to plan a meaningful date night, or a friend who consistently checks in with a heartfelt message despite their hectic schedule. These small acts of prioritization show that the relationship matters deeply to them. Conversely, someone who frequently cancels plans or arrives late without regard for others' feelings sends a different message: that your time, and perhaps the relationship, may not hold much value to them. Do you make enough time for the people who matter in your life, or could your actions signal neglect, even unintentionally? Integrity is another cornerstone of strong relationships. Trust is built through honesty and respect, even in private actions. For example, a friend who keeps your secrets or a partner who fulfills promises, even when it would be easier not to, demonstrates reliability. On the contrary, gossiping about a friend or breaking a commitment undermines the trust necessary for a healthy bond. Imagine promising a partner you'll handle an important errand, then forgetting it entirely. Do you own up to the mistake and make amends, or do you shrug it off? Such moments, though small, define how much respect we hold for those we care about. Power dynamics within relationships also reveal character. Whether it's a friendship where one person has greater social influence or a romantic relationship where one partner handles more decisions, how these dynamics are managed says a lot. Someone who uses their position to manipulate or control others creates an unhealthy imbalance, but a person who approaches power with humility and fairness fosters mutual respect. Think about a friend who generously shares their resources without expecting anything in return, compared to someone who subtly leverages their advantages to dominate. Which type of relationship feels more balanced and secure? By observing and practicing these principles, you can cultivate deeper and more meaningful connections. Ask yourself, are your relationships rooted in kindness, patience, respect for time, integrity, and fairness? These values don't just strengthen the bonds you have with others. They inspire reciprocity, encouraging those around you to meet you with the same effort and care. Strong relationships thrive on mutual respect and shared effort, and they often reflect our ability to live in alignment with our ideals. The Stoic secrets to understanding and building these connections lie in recognizing patterns in actions rather than words, and striving to embody the values we wish to see in others. What kind of relationships are you nurturing, and what do they say about the person you are becoming? Number 5. Guiding future generations. Teaching the next generation to embody strong values and principles is perhaps the greatest legacy we can leave behind, for it ensures that the ideals of integrity, resilience, and wisdom endure beyond our own lives. The 5 observations of character: how we treat others, manage inconveniences, value time, act with integrity, and handle power, serve as timeless guideposts for shaping young minds. By instilling these principles, we empower children and young adults to navigate life with empathy, self-discipline, and a moral compass that aligns with the teachings of modern Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This sentiment captures the essence of leading by example, which is the cornerstone of teaching values to future generations. The journey begins with teaching kindness and fairness, values that lay the foundation for empathy and social awareness. Encourage children to treat everyone with respect, regardless of their role or relationship. Simple habits like saying "please" and "thank you," offering help to a struggling peer, or including others in play are small acts that foster a lifelong habit of compassion. These lessons are absorbed most effectively when modeled by adults. For instance, when parents consistently treat service workers or neighbors with respect, children internalize these behaviors, understanding that kindness is not contingent on status or reward, but is a fundamental human value. As Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness," a principle that young minds can carry into every interaction. Teaching resilience in the face of minor inconveniences is another critical aspect of preparing children for life's inevitable challenges. Whether it's losing a game, facing a delay, or dealing with disappointment, these moments provide opportunities to build patience and adaptability. Guiding a child to stay calm and find solutions when their toy breaks or a plan changes teaches problem-solving and emotional regulation. These small exercises prepare them for larger obstacles, reinforcing the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within their control. Epictetus's wisdom, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters," becomes a practical tool they can use to maintain composure and perspective in both small and significant challenges. Time management and respect for commitments are equally important lessons. Teaching children to value their own time and that of others builds discipline, reliability, and accountability. Simple practices, such as setting routines for schoolwork, chores, or extracurricular activities, help instill habits that will serve them throughout their lives. Encouraging punctuality and the fulfillment of promises teaches them the importance of honoring their word and respecting the efforts of others. Marcus Aurelius's reminder, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," emphasizes the finite nature of time and the importance of using it wisely, a lesson that resonates deeply when shared with younger generations. Integrity, perhaps the most vital of all lessons, is best taught through both instruction and demonstration. Encouraging children to do the right thing, even when no one is watching, shapes their moral framework. Whether it's returning a found item, admitting a mistake, or standing up for what is right, these moments teach them that integrity is not about convenience, but about living consistently with their values. Praise for honesty and responsibility reinforces the idea that character is built on everyday choices. Zeno of Citium's teaching, well-being is realized by small steps, but it is no small thing, reminds us that even small acts of integrity accumulate into a life of moral excellence. Teaching children to handle power with humility and fairness ensures they grow into leaders who uplift others rather than dominate. Power can take many forms, from social influence among peers to leadership roles in school or community activities. Teaching them to use their strengths to support others, such as sharing toys, helping classmates, or including those who feel left out, nurtures empathy and fosters trust. Conversations about fairness and equality further prepare them to wield influence responsibly in adulthood. Seneca's observation, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor," serves as a reminder that true strength lies in contentment and service, not in exerting dominance over others. By instilling these principles in the next generation, we prepare them to lead with integrity, face challenges with resilience, and contribute to their communities with wisdom and compassion. The 5 observations provide a practical, timeless framework for building character, ensuring that future generations are equipped to navigate the complexities of modern life with clarity and purpose. Modern Stoicism, with its emphasis on inner strength and ethical living, serves as both a philosophy and a guide for teaching young people to live meaningfully, leaving a legacy that reflects the best of our shared humanity. As we conclude, remember the 5 observations we've explored: how people treat others, handle stress, value time, act in private, and manage power. These simple yet profound principles not only help us assess the character of those around us, but also guide us in becoming better versions of ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." So take these lessons from Stoicism and apply them to your daily life, whether in your personal growth, relationships, or leadership journey. How will you use these insights to shape your actions and mindset? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation together. If you found value in today's video, like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in your life for more insights to help you live with purpose and resilience. How to let go of the past and move forward. Stoicism. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Plato. We all have a past that we carry with us. The mistakes, the missed opportunities, the regrets that keep us up at night. It feels heavy, doesn't it? But here's the thing, your past is not your future. It's just a chapter, not the entire story. You've probably replayed those moments over and over, the words you wish you could take back, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, the relationships that broke down. They haunt you like shadows, lurking behind every decision. But here's the truth you need to hear. Your past does not define you. It never has. Today, we're going to change how you look at it. We're going to turn those painful memories into stepping stones and use Stoic wisdom to release the grip the past has on you. Why does it matter? Because right now, you're letting your past hold you prisoner. It's keeping you stuck, and it's time for you to break free. Whether you're young or old, successful or struggling, it's never too late to begin again. So, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to step into the future you deserve? Let's explore how Stoicism can help you move forward with purpose and peace. Let's be honest for a moment. Your past? It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. You replay those old mistakes, those failures again and again like a broken record, and you're the needle stuck in the groove. You know the feeling, don't you? How many times have you stopped yourself from taking a chance because of what happened before? How many times has that little voice in your head said, "Remember what happened last time"? It's a constant loop that keeps you stuck, paralyzed by fear, doubts, and regrets. But here's something that might surprise you. This isn't just some mental chatter. It's science. Our brains are wired to hold on to negative experiences more strongly than the positive ones. It's called negativity bias, and it served us well when we were hunters and gatherers. helping us avoid danger. But now it's holding you back from living the life you deserve. Let me give you a metaphor. Picture carrying around a backpack. Every regret, every mistake, every missed opportunity, it's all in that pack. The weight of it all grows heavier each day. How fast can you move forward when you're dragging that burden around with you? And here's the kicker. It's not just your physical energy that's affected. That emotional weight is impacting everything. Your relationships, your career, your dreams. You're not showing up as the best version of yourself because you're stuck in the past version of yourself. And let's be real, there's a strange comfort in this. It's easy to stay in the past because it gives you an excuse. I can't succeed because of what happened before. It's a convenient excuse for not taking risks or putting yourself out there. But ask yourself, is that comfort worth the life you're missing out on? Is carrying that weight worth the future you're sacrificing? Here's the thing. This might sting a little, but the past only has the power you give it. You are the author of your own story right now. But too often, we let our past hold the pen. It's time to take it back. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your past doesn't have to be your anchor. It can be the stepping stone to something greater. The only way to move forward is to let go of what's holding you back. It's time to make peace with your past and start writing the next chapter. 1. Reframing the past. Let's talk about your past for a minute. The truth is, your past isn't a prison but a classroom. It's not meant to trap you or hold you back. It's meant to teach you. Every setback, every failure, every time you've fallen flat on your face. These aren't mistakes to regret. These are lessons, valuable lessons that are helping shape who you are. When you were a child, you didn't learn to walk without stumbling. You didn't learn to speak by getting every word right the first time. So why should life be any different? The Stoics, wise men from centuries ago, had a powerful insight. External events don't harm us. Our judgment about them is what does the damage. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the key right there. The way you view your past is what either keeps you stuck or frees you to move forward. Your mind holds the power to change how you see things. Now, how do you turn your past from a burden into something that propels you forward? The first step is to stop seeing yourself as a victim. You are not a punching bag for life's misfortunes. You are a warrior, constantly training, constantly learning, constantly becoming stronger with every challenge you face. So instead of wallowing in self-pity, start to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Take your past failures and dissect them. What has that failed relationship taught you about what you truly need in a partner? What has that job loss taught you about your passions or your real ambitions in life? When you start seeing your past as a valuable teacher, those scars and wounds will start to feel less like burdens and more like badges of honor. It's all about reframing your perspective, and one powerful tool you can use is gratitude. I know, it may sound soft, but hear me out. What if every painful experience, every bad thing that happened to you, was actually preparing you for something better? That breakup? It freed you up to meet the right person. That failure at work? It pushed you to finally start that business you've always dreamed of. Take a moment right now. Think about your biggest regret. The one that still stings. Now find 3 ways that it made you stronger, wiser, or more resilient. Done? That's the magic of reframing. You've just turned poison into medicine. You haven't erased your history, but you've rewritten it. You've taken control of how it defines you. So, let's pause here for a second. Are you ready to stop being a prisoner of your past and become a student of it instead? Because here's the truth. Failure isn't your enemy. It's actually your greatest ally. Think about the last time you failed. I'm not talking about a small mistake here. I mean the kind of failure that leaves you feeling gut-wrenched, ashamed, and filled with self-doubt. Now, what if you could use that pain, that disappointment, and turn it into something powerful? Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who went from being a slave to one of the greatest minds in history, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your failures don't define you, how you respond to them does. So next time you fail, and you will because you're human, don't see it as a setback. See it as a step forward." The truth is, success can often make you complacent. It can trick you into thinking you're invincible. But failure? Failure keeps you humble. It keeps you hungry. It keeps you learning. Now let me ask you, have you ever met someone who has never failed? I'll tell you what they look like: untested, unprepared, and often unable to handle the real challenges of life. On the other hand, look at the people you admire, the ones who have truly made an impact. I guarantee you their path wasn't smooth. It was messy, filled with mistakes, rejections, and failures. Take Thomas Edison, for example. The man failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of someone who understands that failure is just a part of the journey to success. Or look at J.K. Rowling, who went from being a broke, divorced, single mother living on welfare to becoming one of the most successful authors in history. Her Harry Potter book was rejected by 12 publishers before finally being accepted. Can you imagine how close she came to quitting? Yet, she didn't. She kept going. These stories aren't just feel-good tales, they're blueprints for success. They show us that failure isn't the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of it. So what I want you to do the next time you fail, instead of beating yourself up, is to celebrate. Celebrate the fact that you just found a way that doesn't work. You're one step closer to finding the way that does. The master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. Every scar, every setback is a lesson learned. You're not being weakened by failure. You're being forged into something stronger, better, and more resilient. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said it best. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. You're not losing when you fail. You're gaining strength, and each setback is setting you up for a powerful comeback. So I want to make you a promise. The next time you fail, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, what did this teach me? How can I use this? How did this make me stronger? Because here's the truth. You haven't failed until you quit. Every other setback is just a lesson. So are you ready to turn your failures into fuel? Are you ready to fall forward? Because every time you do, you're one step closer to the person you're meant to be. And I believe in you. Now, it's time for you to believe in yourself and turn those past mistakes into stepping stones for the future you've always dreamed of. 2. The power of present focus. Where do you find your power? Is it in your past with all its mistakes and regrets? Or is it in your future, filled with fears and uncertainties? The truth is, neither. Your true power lies in the present moment, right here, right now. So many of us get caught up in thinking about what we did wrong yesterday, or what could go wrong tomorrow, and we forget that today, this very moment, is the only place where real change can happen. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What does that mean for you and me? It means that while we can't change what has already happened, and we can't control what's coming, we have full control over how we experience the present. But here's the kicker. How often do you find yourself stuck in the past or obsessing about the future? If you're like most people, it's probably more often than you'd like to admit. You might even catch yourself replaying old mistakes or worrying about what could go wrong in the days ahead. When we live in our heads like this, life slips right through our fingers. Here's an interesting thought. Have you ever been so fully immersed in an activity that time seemed to disappear? Maybe it was a conversation, a workout, a hobby, or a game. You were so engaged, so in the moment, that nothing else seemed to matter. That's what psychologists call the flow state. It's when you're fully present, fully absorbed, and fully alive in the task at hand. It's where you perform at your best, where you unlock your true potential. Imagine if you could live your life like that, constantly in flow, in the present, where every moment is an opportunity to excel. I'm not saying you should forget about your past or stop planning for the future. What I am saying is that you should stop letting them steal the present from you. The past has already happened, and the future is still a mystery. But right now is where you can make choices, take action, and shape your reality. Let me give you a challenge. For the next 24 hours, whenever you catch your mind wandering to the past or the future, gently bring it back to the present. What's going on around you right now? What can you see, hear, or feel in this moment? What's something you can do right now to take one small step toward your goals? Think about how powerful that could be if you truly lived each day this way. Epictetus, another wise Stoic, said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." It's easy to get caught up in what we've lost or what we fear, but real wisdom comes from embracing the present moment and appreciating what we have. How often do you truly appreciate what's right in front of you? Or are you too busy regretting the past or worrying about the future? To make this even clearer, imagine you're driving a car. The windshield is big and the rearview mirror is small. Why? Because where you're headed is much more important than where you've been. The same goes for life. Your focus should be forward, on what you can do right now, what you can control, and where you want to go. The past is a rearview mirror. It's there, but it's not your main focus. The future is a mystery, and while planning is important, obsessing over it can paralyze you. But the present, the now, is where you have all your power. This is where you can act, decide, and change the course of your life. Buddha, who wasn't a Stoic but shared many similar teachings, once said, "The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, worry about the future, or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly." This is the essence of peace and well-being. When you stop mourning the past or anxiously predicting the future, you give yourself the gift of truly living in the present. The more you can embrace the now, the more at peace you'll become. And the more peace you have, the more power you'll feel. It's not about ignoring the past or the future. It's about recognizing that this moment is the only one that truly matters. So here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath right now. Wherever you are, pause for a second and feel the ground beneath your feet. Look around and notice the details around you. What do you see? What do you hear? How does your body feel in this moment? Now think about what you can do right now to move toward your goals. What small action can you take in the next few minutes that will bring you closer to where you want to be? It doesn't have to be big. Just a small step, done with full focus, can lead you to a much bigger shift in your life. Life is happening right now. It's not in the past and it's not in the future, it's here in this moment, and you have the power to shape it. Every moment is an opportunity to make a choice, take an action, and move closer to the life you want. But you have to be present to see that opportunity. So, are you ready to stop letting your past drag you down, or letting your future overwhelm you? Are you prepared to step fully into the present, where all your power lies? The world doesn't need you to be caught up in old regrets or future fears. The world needs you to be right here, right now, giving everything you've got to the moment in front of you. And I believe you're more than capable of that. The question is, will you choose to live in the present, live in? 3. Breaking the chains of expectation. Your life isn't a script written by others. It's your story to tell. Too often, society, family, and friends impose expectations on us, shaping who we think we should be, what we should achieve, and how we should live. But here's a truth worth remembering. Those expectations are their limitations, not yours. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, wisely said, "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." Think about it. How many times have you held yourself back from pursuing a dream or taking a risk because it didn't fit the mold that others had set for you? How often have you felt pressured to live up to someone else's version of success even when it didn't resonate with your own sense of fulfillment? Every time you do that, you're essentially locking yourself in a cage built by someone else's standards. And what's the price? A life spent in quiet desperation, trying to please others and ignoring your own desires. I want to challenge you to stop living like that. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else's dreams. It needs you, the real, unfiltered, unapologetic you. The great Japanese swordsman and philosopher Miyamoto Musashi once said, "Do not fear death, fear instead never beginning to live." When you live solely to meet other people's expectations, you're not living at all. You're existing in a shadow of who you could be, following paths that weren't meant for you, merely because they were comfortable or expected. Are you really living if you're constantly measuring yourself against someone else's standards? It's time to challenge those shoulds that rule your life, those notions of what you're supposed to do, based on what others think or expect of you. Are those truly your goals, or are they dreams that someone else has projected onto you? It's a hard question, but it's necessary. And the answer is simple. You must break free. You must stop living for others and start living for yourself. Remember, as Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, put it, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When we waste our time trying to live up to others' expectations, we squander the precious moments that could be spent on something truly fulfilling. Here's an exercise I want you to try. It's a simple yet powerful one. Take a moment and write down all the expectations that others have of you. Then, take a good look at each one. Do any of these align with who you are or what you truly want for your life? Cross out the ones that don't fit your true self. Feel that? That's the weight lifting off your shoulders. In that moment, you've just started to free yourself from the invisible chains that have held you back. The Buddha said the mind is everything. What you think, you become. What are you thinking about right now? Are you thinking that you need to conform, that you need to please others? Or are you thinking about the life you want to create for yourself, the life you deserve to live? The choice is in your hands. At the end of your life, what do you think you'll regret more? The expectations you didn't meet or the life you didn't fully live? You see, the real cost of living for others' expectations is that you lose sight of who you really are and what you truly want out of life. But there's hope. By realizing that those expectations don't define you, you can step into a future where your decisions, your choices, and your life are entirely your own. It won't be easy. There will be moments when people you care about will be disappointed, when you'll feel the weight of judgment. But here's the thing. Those people who expect you to follow their path aren't the ones who will live with the consequences of your choices. You will. You owe it to yourself to stop playing small and start taking ownership of your life. And when you do, something remarkable happens. You start to live authentically. 4. Shape your future. Your future isn't some distant, unreachable destination. It's something you create in every single moment, with every choice you make. The past? Well, that's just the raw material from which you'll forge your future. Think of yourself as the blacksmith, and this very moment, the now, being your forge. You hold the hammer and the anvil. Your decisions, your actions, and your mindset are the tools that will shape what comes next. Your future isn't pre-written. It isn't a path laid out before you. It isn't determined by past mistakes or your current circumstances. Your future is the result of what you do right now, how you choose to act, how you decide to think, and how you engage with life at this very moment. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, hit the nail on the head when he said, "It's not because things are difficult that we dare not venture. It's because we dare not venture that things are difficult." Those words are a challenge, aren't they? How many times have you hesitated to take that step forward because you didn't think you were ready? Or maybe you feared failure, even before you gave it a try. We all know that feeling. But here's the truth. You'll never feel 100% ready. The perfect moment doesn't exist. What matters is taking action now, no matter how imperfect or uncertain it may seem. You're standing at the foot of a mountain. The past is the valley behind you, and the peak of your future lies ahead, high above. Now the question is, are you going to stand frozen at the bottom, gazing up at the peak, paralyzed by its height and the thought of how far you have to climb? Or are you going to take the first step? That's how progress happens. Not all at once, but one step at a time, moving forward with purpose and determination. Your present decisions create your future self. It's that simple. But let's get deeper for a second. Think about this. Every great achievement, no matter how monumental, began with one small step. The Great Wall of China, one of the most impressive structures ever built, started with a single brick. Your transformation, your success, your future, begins with one decision. Right now. One choice to start. One commitment to change. Your past doesn't define your future, unless you keep living in it. You're not a tree stuck in one place, rooted forever. You have the ability to move, to grow, to change. Your past may have shaped who you are today, but it doesn't have to dictate where you go from here. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "I wish I could change, but my past holds me back"? It's easy to feel like our past mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities have a permanent grip on our future. But the Stoic wisdom teaches us something powerful. Your future is shaped by what you do now. Epictetus, another Stoic, beautifully summed it up with this: first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. It's not enough to sit and dream about the life you want. You have to act on it. You have to put in the work to make those dreams a reality. It's about showing up every single day, making decisions that align with your vision, and never losing sight of your goal. So here's a small exercise for you. Take a piece of paper and write down your vision for the future. Be clear, be specific. What does the life you want look like? And then, under that vision, write 3 things you can do this week to move towards it. Not next month, not next year. This week. What small steps can you take today that will bring you closer to your goals? It could be as simple as making a phone call, signing up for a course, or having an important conversation. These small actions are the building blocks of your future, and they start now. It's time to take ownership of your life and stop waiting for things to change on their own. Your future is being created in this moment with every decision and every action you take. In your life isn't some random sequence of events. Every single choice you make is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. The question is, what picture are you creating? Are you going to keep rehashing the same old picture, stuck in your past? Or are you ready to create something new, something extraordinary? The power lies in your hands. The key to your future is in how you choose to show up today. Your past has brought you to this moment, but it doesn't get to decide where you go next. That power, my friend, belongs to you. Right here, right now. So, let me ask you again. What are you going to do today to shape the future you desire? The journey starts with you, and it starts today. If you're ready to stop letting the past control your future, drop a simple yes in the comments. Let's take action and move forward together. 5. Turning pain into power. Pain, let's face it, it's something we all try to avoid. But what if I told you that the pain you're carrying, the weight you're dragging around, isn't a burden, but rocket fuel? Every setback, every scar, every moment that brought you to your knees is energy just waiting to be transformed into something powerful. Nietzsche, a philosopher heavily influenced by Stoicism, once said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." But I want to take that a step further. Not only does it make us stronger, it makes us unstoppable. You see, Every hardship you've faced has given you something valuable. Whether you realize it or not, you've forged resilience, creativity, and grit in the fires of adversity. These aren't just empty words, they're weapons. They're tools that, if used right, can change your life. Think about the most influential people in history. They weren't born with silver spoons. They've been through hell, and they came back with a map to guide others through it. What's the pain you're carrying? That one thing that keeps you up at night. The one that has haunted you for days, months, or even years. What if you could use that pain, not as something that holds you back, but as fuel to propel you forward? How can you transform that poison into medicine, not just for yourself, but for others? Your failed business could become the foundation for a mentorship program. Your heartbreak could inspire a piece of art that touches others, and your rock bottom could be the bedrock for someone else's breakthrough. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the pain, understanding it, and using it as a catalyst for growth. I always think of how a diamond is made. A diamond is just a piece of coal that handled pressure exceptionally well. It's the pressure, the stress, the hardship that turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. Now, I know it sounds great in theory, but how do you actually start turning this pain into power? Well, it's time to roll up your sleeves and get to work. It's one thing to talk about transformation, but it's another thing entirely to make it happen. The truth is, knowledge without action is like a Ferrari with no gas. It's impressive, but it's not going anywhere. The first step is self-reflection. Every night before bed, ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I grow? What could I have done better? This isn't just journaling. It's reprogramming your mind to focus on growth, not guilt. The more you reflect on your progress, the more you'll realize that growth is a constant process, and that setbacks are not signs of failure, but steps in the journey. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude, my friend, is a game changer. So every morning, before you even get out of bed, take a moment to list 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be huge. They can be as simple as a good cup of coffee, a beautiful sunrise, or the love of a friend. This simple practice trains your brain to focus on the positive, shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from lack to opportunity. Next, let's talk about your self-talk. Catch yourself when you start thinking things like, "I always screw up," or "I'm not good enough." Those words are shaping your reality. Instead, replace those thoughts with, "I'm learning," and "I'm getting better every day." The language we use is powerful. It shapes how we see ourselves and the world around us. Think about the times you've told yourself, "I'll never be able to do that," or "That's just too hard." Do those thoughts empower you, or do they hold you back? Your words are not just thoughts. They're the building blocks of your future. So be mindful of what you say to yourself and make sure it's supportive, encouraging, and positive. Here's another powerful exercise. Create a failure resume. Yes, you heard that right. Write down your biggest failures, the moments that felt like crushing defeats. But instead of focusing on the pain, ask yourself, what did I learn from each of these experiences? This isn't about self-pity or feeling sorry for yourself. It's about celebrating your resilience. Each failure is proof that you've tried, that you've pushed forward, that you haven't given up. Remember, failure is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of what you've learned. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. 6. The truth about effort. I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds like a lot of work. And you're right, it is. But let me ask you this. Is the life you truly want worth the effort? Are you willing to put in the work to become the person you've always known you could be? You see, there's no shortcut to greatness. The road to becoming who you were meant to be isn't easy, but it's the only road that leads to true fulfillment. Every master you admire was once a disaster. Every expert you look up to was once a beginner. The only difference? They didn't let their past mistakes and failures define them. They used them as a springboard to propel themselves forward. They didn't stop, even when things got tough. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. Don't let where you've been, or where you are, hold you back from where you can go. The best time to start changing your life was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Every single day you wait to take that first step is a day lost. But it's never too late to begin. Your future self is watching, and every decision you make today shapes the person you'll become. What are you going to show them? The truth is, this journey of personal growth won't be a smooth one. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Obstacles will come up, doubts will sneak in, old habits will try to drag you back into comfort. But remember this, the obstacle is the way, as Marcus Aurelius wisely said. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every single challenge you face is an opportunity, a chance to prove your strength, sharpen your skills, and become a better version of yourself. You'll be faced with moments that test your resolve, but in those moments, you can either step back in fear or step forward in faith. Every setback, every roadblock is part of the process, and it's not just a test, it's a chance to learn. Think of it like lifting weights. The resistance makes you stronger. It's not the weight that defeats you, it's how you handle it. You decide if you'll let it break you or if you'll use it to become better. Now let's address that voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough, that you'll never change, that you're too old or too late to start. That voice loves to whisper lies to keep you in a state of fear and doubt. But here's the truth. Action is the antidote. You silence that voice not by overthinking, but by doing. You prove it wrong every single day with the small actions you take toward your goals. Don't let those thoughts control you. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who decides which thoughts you'll believe. Every time you take action, you chip away at that nagging doubt. And with each step forward, the path to the person you want to be becomes clearer. Just think about how many times you've faced doubts in the past and made it through. This time will be no different as long as you show up and put in the work. It's as Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You have the power to decide how you'll react. The next hurdle we all face is the comfort zone. The comfort zone. It's safe, it's cozy, but it's also the place where growth goes to die. We've all been there, haven't we? It's easy to stay where things feel familiar and predictable. But let's be honest, nothing worthwhile ever came from staying in the comfort zone. Seneca once said, "It's not because things are difficult that we dare not venture. It's because we dare not venture that things are difficult." In other words, the only thing holding you back is your own fear. The moment you step outside that comfort zone is the moment you start growing. It's time to embrace the discomfort. You'll hear it called embracing the suck, and for good reason. Growth happens in discomfort. It's the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. 7. The hardest challenge, patience. Patience. It's a word we all hear often, but how many of us truly understand its power? In today's world, where everything seems to happen at the speed of a click, patience feels almost like a foreign concept. We're used to instant gratification, a quick text message, fast food, even on-demand entertainment at the touch of a button. But real change, the kind of change that shapes who you are, doesn't work like that. It takes time. And that's where the real challenge lies. Having the patience to stay the course when things seem slow or hard. Where will you be a year from now if you keep pushing forward, even when things get tough? And conversely, where will you be if you decide to give up today? Think about it. If you keep moving, one small step after another, no matter how slow the progress may seem, your future self will thank you. Can you feel that? That sense of pride, that quiet satisfaction that you didn't quit, that you stayed the course despite the odds. Let that feeling fuel you, because it's the kind of strength that only comes when you've practiced patience and persistence over time. Real growth comes from sticking it out, from weathering the storm, not from avoiding it. Every hero's journey has its challenges. You've heard it before. No dragon, no hero. Think about the great stories, whether it's in books, movies, or even real life. The hero faces seemingly impossible odds, battles monsters, overcomes the darkness, and emerges victorious. The challenges aren't something that stand in the way of their destiny. They're the very thing that shapes it. Your challenges, the things you struggle with, are doing the same for you. They're not obstacles. They're the forge in which your character is being made. So, let me ask you, what's your dragon? What's the biggest challenge standing between you and the life you want to live? Name it, face it, because the bigger the dragon, the greater the victory. Think about it. The hero doesn't feel fully heroic until he's faced the hardest part of the journey. Without the battle, there's no triumph. It's in the toughest moments that you prove who you are, and that's where you build your resilience. So, when life throws its hardest challenges your way, don't run. Step up. You're strong enough to handle hard. It's not about avoiding difficulty. It's about embracing it and using it to become the person you've always wanted to be. That's what real strength looks like. Are you ready to face your challenges head on? The ones that seem daunting? The ones that make you second-guess yourself? The ones that make you want to quit? I know it's not easy, but here's a thought to keep in mind. Your obstacles are not roadblocks, they're opportunities. Every challenge you face is a chance to grow, to become stronger, and to prove to yourself that you can overcome whatever life throws at you. This isn't some abstract philosophy, it's practical. It's what the Stoics practiced every day of their lives, and it's something you can do too. Don't shy away from difficulty. Embrace it. As Seneca once said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Your ability to deal with challenges will determine your growth, and no challenge is ever wasted if you choose to learn from it. And then there's the past. How many times have you caught yourself thinking about what you should have done differently, wishing you could change things, wishing you could undo mistakes? It's easy to fall into the trap of dwelling on past mistakes. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. Who said that? It doesn't matter, because what matters is whether you're ready to live it. The past should serve as a guide, not a prison. If you keep looking back at what you did, what you could have done better, you'll miss the opportunities right in front of you. It's time to stop being a prisoner of your history and start being the architect of your destiny. You have the power to shape your future, but it requires you to let go of what's already happened. Take a moment and ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped holding on to the past and started moving forward, free from guilt or regret? You'll face setbacks. You will. It's part of the journey. There will be days when you feel like you're back at square one, like you haven't made any progress at all. But here's the secret. Setbacks are setups for comebacks. Each time you fall, you learn how to rise again, and you rise stronger. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to get back up when you do fail. You know, most people won't understand the path you're on. They might criticize you, pull you back into old habits, and doubt your ability to change. But as Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. You have to accept that not everyone will see the vision for your life the way you do, and that's perfectly fine. The radio. It's easy to get discouraged, I get it. But think about the people around you who are fighting battles you may not even know about. Take the guy at the gym who's struggling through his last set, his muscles aching and screaming for him to stop. He's not just building his body, he's building resilience. Or think of that woman in the boardroom, giving a presentation with shaking hands, fighting through her fear and self-doubt. She's not just delivering a speech, she's conquering the fear that's been holding her back. These are modern-day Stoics. They're not wearing togas and quoting ancient philosophers, but they're living the Stoic mindset every day in real life, in the most practical of ways. You can do the same. You don't need to be a philosopher in a dusty library to practice Stoicism. All you need to do is face your challenges head-on, without fear, and use them to shape your character. Just like Ryan Holiday, who took the ancient teachings of Stoicism and turned them into best-selling books and a thriving business. He didn't let his past as a college dropout define him. Instead, he used it as fuel to succeed. Or take Rear Admiral James Stockdale, who endured 7.5 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. His secret weapon? Stoic philosophy. Stockdale believed that the power to overcome any challenge was within himself. "I never lost faith at the end of the story," he said. "I never doubted that I would get out and prevail in the end, and turn the experience into the defining event of my life, which, in retrospect, I would not trade." These aren't superhumans. They're just regular people who chose not to let their pasts define them. Instead, they took control of their stories and used their struggles to become stronger. The biggest challenge you'll face in life isn't the world around you. It's your own patience and ability to persevere through the hard times. Your past is not a place for you to live. It's simply a reference for you to learn from. Every challenge you face is a chance to grow, to shape yourself into the person you want to become. And every setback is just the beginning of a comeback. 8. Embracing impermanence. Let's talk about something that might feel uncomfortable at first. Impermanence. It's a big word, but it simply means that everything in life is temporary. The good moments, the bad ones, the things we cherish, and even the things we regret. All of it is constantly changing. And while it might seem unsettling to think that things don't last forever, it's actually one of the most freeing realizations you can have, especially when you're trying to let go of the past. You see, we often hold on to the past, not just out of nostalgia, but because we think it's the only thing that gives us a sense of control or security. But this is a misunderstanding of the nature of life. Heraclitus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "The only constant in life is change." This means nothing stays the same, not your pain, your struggles, your achievements, or your past. And while it may feel safer to keep clinging to what you know, it's important to recognize that everything you're holding on to is just one piece of the bigger, ever-changing picture. Now picture holding a heavy stone in your hand. You've had it for a while, and while it's heavy and makes your hand ache, you're hesitant to let it go. Why? Because it's familiar and it's yours. But what happens when you finally release it? You feel lighter, freer, as though a burden has been lifted. This is the same way we hold on to memories, mistakes, or parts of our old selves. We think that these things define us, but they actually weigh us down and stop us from moving forward. Letting go doesn't mean you forget about those experiences. It means you stop letting them control your present. They don't have to define who you are or the person you are becoming. When you learn to let go, you allow yourself the freedom to evolve, to try new things, and to embrace opportunities you once might have missed because you were too busy holding on to the past. The truth is, life is full of change, whether we want it or not. The Stoics understood this and leaned into it. They didn't resist change. They welcomed it because they knew that without change, there's no growth. And in our modern lives, this is just as true. If you're constantly looking back at what's behind you, whether it's a past failure, a relationship that ended, or a job you didn't get, you're not fully embracing the life that's unfolding before you. That's where the real freedom lies. By accepting that nothing is permanent, you start to see the world differently. You begin to recognize that each new day brings with it a new opportunity, a new path, and a new chance to move forward. And yes, this includes the hard times too. The struggles, the losses, the mistakes, they're part of the process of growth. They shape you, but they don't have to trap you. Think back to the moments when you've had to let go of something or someone in your life. Maybe it was a job that wasn't a good fit anymore, or perhaps it was a relationship that had run its course. When you finally let go, didn't it feel like a weight was lifted off your shoulders? That feeling of freedom? That's what happens when we embrace impermanence. It's not that we're forgetting the past, but rather we're no longer allowing it to limit who we are now and who we are becoming. In fact, the more you resist change, the more you hold on to what is no longer serving you, the more you're holding yourself back from the opportunities that lie ahead. But when you let go, you make space for something better. You create room for new experiences, new lessons, and new joys. The world is full of possibility, but it can't be accessed if you're still trying to hold on to what's already gone. This idea of impermanence is central to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, advised us to accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs. This wisdom speaks to the heart of releasing the past. Accept that what has happened, and it is no longer yours to control. What you can control is how you move forward. By letting go of the things that no longer serve you, whether that's a past relationship, an old identity, or a painful memory, you make room for something new, something that will help you grow, evolve, and live more fully in the present. Life is fluid, and change is constant. When you let go of what's behind you, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities that you never thought were possible. If you've made it this far, you're ready to embrace change and let go of the past. Drop a comment saying, "I am moving forward to commit to this powerful journey of growth." Stay tuned, the best is yet to come. 9. The art of self-compassion. In our quest to let go of the past and move forward, one crucial step we often overlook is the practice of self-compassion. We all have moments where we are haunted by past mistakes, missed opportunities, and things we wish we'd done differently. It's easy to get stuck in the cycle of regret, where we constantly beat ourselves up over things we can't change. But what if, instead of punishing yourself for your failures, you showed yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend who's struggling? How much lighter would you feel if you could release that burden of self-blame and replace it with self-compassion? The Stoics teach us that our thoughts and perceptions shape our reality. When we constantly tell ourselves we are failures, we begin to believe it. But the Stoic approach is different. It encourages us to acknowledge our mistakes, learn from them, and then let them go. It's not about excusing what we've done wrong, it's about freeing ourselves from the prison of self-criticism and recognizing that we can choose to move forward. This reminds us that we don't need to be perfect. We just need to focus on being the best version of ourselves in the present, acknowledging our flaws, but not letting them dictate our future. Think about how often you've judged yourself harshly for past actions. Maybe you passed up a job opportunity or handled a relationship poorly. What if, instead of beating yourself up, you simply recognized that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time? And now, with the wisdom of hindsight, you can move forward, wiser and more resilient. In doing so, you'll realize that self-compassion is also about recognizing that you're not alone in your struggles. Every single person has faced regrets and made mistakes. Everyone has been in a situation where they've had to make a difficult choice. And those experiences, as painful as they may be, are what shape us into who we are. When you forgive yourself, you not only let go of the past but also give yourself permission to grow and evolve. It's a powerful act of self-love that allows you to make better choices in the future because it comes from a place of learning, not self-punishment. So if you're truly ready to let go of the past and move forward, start by offering yourself the same compassion you would offer a loved one. Embrace your flaws, accept your mistakes, and remember they don't determine your future. Your ability to change, to grow, and to evolve lies in your capacity to forgive yourself. Life is a journey of learning, growing, and becoming. And by practicing self-compassion, you create the space to become the person you're meant to be. One who is not defined by past regrets but empowered by the lessons they bring. If so, you've already taken the first step toward a brighter, more resilient future. By letting go of the past and practicing self-compassion, you unlock the freedom to live fully in the present and build the future you truly want. Thank you for joining me today on Stoic in Your Life. Now that you've taken the first step toward letting go of the past and moving forward, it's time to keep that momentum going. Remember, every moment is a chance to choose your path, and it's up to you to write the next chapter of your story. So, take action. Today. Don't wait. Let the past fade, and let the present be your guide. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our future videos that will help you continue to grow, evolve, and embrace the Stoic way of life. The journey to a better you starts now. Make your future self proud. I'll see you in the next video. Let's keep moving forward. 10 lessons to master your mind and control your emotions. Stoicism. The mind that is anxious about the future is miserable. Seneca. Have you ever wondered why your emotions seem to control you? 1 minute you're focused and calm, and the next, a passing remark or minor setback can throw off your entire day. Imagine if you could navigate your emotions with ease, staying balanced no matter what life throws at you. Good news, you can. In today's video on Stoic in Your Life, we'll uncover 10 timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy to help you master your mind and take charge of your emotions. These principles won't turn you into an emotionless robot. Instead, they'll help you understand your feelings, manage your reactions, and maintain calm through life's ups and downs. Stick around, especially for the last lesson. It might be the key to transforming tough moments into growth. Before we jump in, here's a story that perfectly illustrates the power of mental mastery. 1. Self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is the foundation upon which true mental mastery is built, and without it, our minds remain like a bustling marketplace, overwhelmed with the chaotic chatter of desires, fears, and fleeting emotions all competing for our attention. To achieve a measure of control over your mind and emotions, you must first understand the layers of your own mind, your beliefs, habits, triggers, and values. When you cultivate this understanding, you can step back and observe your impulses rather than being swept away by them. As Epictetus wisely stated, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. This quote reminds us that we cannot effectively respond to life's challenges unless we first know our inner world. Start by taking stock of your thoughts and feelings. A journal can be an invaluable tool in this practice. Set aside a few minutes each week to write not just about what happened in your life, but about your responses to those events. By exploring how and why you reacted in certain ways, you begin to notice patterns, uncover hidden insecurities, and see the motivations driving your actions. You may realize, for example, that certain situations repeatedly bring up feelings of frustration or anxiety, perhaps due to a long-held belief or expectation. By identifying these, you gain the power to shift your perspective and reshape your responses. Self-knowledge doesn't mean obsessing over every perceived flaw or aiming to change who you are fundamentally. Instead, it involves a gentle yet persistent curiosity about the forces that drive you. Acknowledging what angers, excites, or worries you allows you to handle life's ups and downs with greater clarity. For example, if you know that you often react impulsively to criticism, this awareness gives you a pause, a moment to choose a more balanced response instead of instantly feeling offended. Seneca once said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." By knowing yourself, you also gain freedom from the many expectations you may place on the future, allowing you to experience the present moment more fully, with less anxiety about what may come. In today's world, self-knowledge is as vital as ever. We're constantly bombarded with media and external influences, each tugging at our desires, fears, and insecurities. This makes it easy to lose sight of who we truly are, drifting through life guided not by our inner compass, but by the trends and opinions of others. Self-reflection helps ground us, keeping us anchored to our values and principles, which is essential in maintaining a balanced emotional state. The power of self-knowledge lies in its ability to transform impulsive emotional reactions into thoughtful, intentional responses. Instead of letting each setback or success dictate your mood and direction, you gain the resilience to remain steady, centered, and proactive. Another practical application of self-knowledge lies in setting boundaries for oneself. something often overlooked in the pursuit of external goals. By understanding your limits and values, you avoid taking on responsibilities or relationships that drain you emotionally or violate your principles. When you know what truly matters to you, you naturally prioritize those things and let go of distractions that do not align with your purpose. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." This idea is empowering because it reminds us that external circumstances cannot disturb our peace unless we allow them to. By cultivating self-knowledge, we begin to understand our judgments, paving the way to make clearer, more grounded choices. As you deepen your self-understanding, you may also find that certain emotions lose their grip over you. For instance, understanding that your anger often stems from unmet expectations, or that your sadness is connected to a desire for control, can help you manage these feelings before they spiral. The key is not to suppress emotions, but to view them with curiosity and compassion, knowing that each emotion has a root cause, often tied to personal beliefs and past experiences. With self-knowledge, these emotions no longer feel like unmanageable storms. They become signals guiding you to adjust your outlook or expectations. Incorporating Stoic practices, such as daily reflection or visualizing your values, can help reinforce this self-awareness. The journey toward self-knowledge is one of patience and persistence. Each insight you gain about yourself helps you step into a more peaceful, intentional way of living. It requires discipline, a willingness to face uncomfortable truths, and a steady commitment to growth. But the rewards are transformative. By knowing yourself, you equip yourself to navigate life's challenges with greater ease, meet difficult moments with resilience, and live in harmony with your values. This isn't about changing who you are, it's about revealing who you are beneath the noise and pressures of everyday life. 2. Strengthening self-esteem. Strengthening self-esteem is a cornerstone of resilience and personal growth. Think of self-esteem as a plant that, like any living thing, requires consistent nurturing to flourish. When you water a plant, give it sunlight, and care for it regularly, it grows strong and vibrant. Neglect it, and it begins to wither. Similarly, your self-esteem needs regular nourishment to thrive. This doesn't mean grand gestures of self-appreciation. It's the small, simple acts of self-acknowledgement that build a stable foundation. Start by recognizing your daily victories, no matter how small they may seem. Did you get up and move forward, even on a tough day? Did you complete a task you'd been putting off? Each of these actions is like a drop of water that sustains the roots of your self-esteem. By celebrating these small accomplishments, you begin to build a sturdy foundation within yourself that supports resilience and confidence over time. Setting realistic daily goals is another powerful way to nurture your self-esteem. These don't have to be monumental. In fact, small, achievable goals, like reading a few pages of a book, taking a short walk, or making that one difficult phone call, provide a steady source of fulfillment. Each time you reach a goal, you experience a small sense of success, which reinforces your sense of worth. The Stoic approach to self-esteem reminds us that true self-worth isn't about constantly telling ourselves we're amazing or putting ourselves on a pedestal. It's about seeing ourselves with clarity and honesty. This kind of self-respect isn't arrogant or boastful. It's grounded in a humble awareness of our strengths and weaknesses, giving us the courage to acknowledge our value without seeking validation from others. To solidify this sense of self-worth, take some time to reflect on your positive qualities. Make a list of things you're good at, talents you possess, or traits you're proud of. It might feel strange at first, but revisiting these qualities regularly can help counterbalance the negative self-criticism that we all tend to engage in. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel lost or inadequate, especially when we're constantly exposed to others' achievements and carefully curated successes on social media. Have you ever scrolled through a feed and felt like everyone else was moving faster, doing better, or achieving more? This feeling is common, but it's crucial to remember that self-worth is not determined by comparison. Comparing yourself to others weakens your self-esteem because it shifts your focus from your own progress to an unrealistic standard. A helpful practice is to celebrate your journey at your own pace, appreciating the progress you've made. As Marcus Aurelius advised, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Self-esteem, then, becomes a kind of armor, a steady reminder that you are enough as you are in each moment. This story, it's a man named Alex in his 40s, had always felt he fell short of his goals and the expectations of others. Each day felt like a struggle to keep up, to prove himself in the eyes of those around him. One day, after a particularly tough week, a friend suggested he try a different approach, to stop focusing on everyone else's opinions and instead focus on small daily goals he could complete for his own satisfaction. Alex began by setting simple tasks: finishing a book, calling a family member, organizing his workspace. Each time he completed a goal, he made a note of it, and gradually, he started to feel more grounded. He stopped worrying as much about what others thought because he was building his own steady sense of accomplishment. Through this process, he realized that self-esteem is less about grand achievements and more about the quiet, consistent care he gave himself each day. By focusing on what you can control and celebrating the little victories, you strengthen the roots of your self-esteem, making it resilient enough to face life's inevitable challenges with a calm and confident mindset. True self-esteem, then, is not just about feeling good in ideal circumstances. It's about cultivating an inner stability that doesn't waver with external ups and downs. Remember to nurture yourself each day, not by comparing yourself to others, but by honoring your unique path and embracing the journey. The lessons we learn here, anchored in Stoic wisdom, teach us that a solid sense of self-esteem is essential for facing life's challenges with courage and composure. In every small victory, you're laying the groundwork for a resilient, enduring sense of worth. 3. Setting boundary. Setting boundaries is an essential practice for maintaining emotional well-being and personal independence. Without boundaries, you're like a boat without a compass, drifting aimlessly through the sea of others' expectations and demands, pulled in every direction except the one that truly matters to you. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized that while we cannot control other people or external events, we have absolute control over our own minds and actions. Setting boundaries is how we take that control. It allows us to protect our energy, safeguard our peace of mind, and remain aligned with our values, even when the world around us is chaotic. So, why do so many of us struggle to set boundaries? Maybe it's fear. Fear of disappointing others, fear of being perceived as selfish, or fear of conflict. But have you ever thought about how much energy you lose when you let others dictate your time, emotions, and choices? To start setting boundaries, the first and most crucial step is identifying what's truly important to you. Imagine for a moment that you're planning a road trip. You wouldn't get in the car and drive aimlessly, would you? Instead, you'd choose a destination, map out your stops, and pack what you need. Knowing your priorities works the same way. It gives you clarity about where you're going and what you're willing to accept along the way. When you know what really matters to you, saying no becomes an act of self-respect, not selfishness. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Saying no is not about shutting people out. It's about creating a space for what brings meaning to your life. Think of it like a buffet. Just because there are many dishes doesn't mean you have to sample them all. Choose what nourishes you and leave the rest. Once you've clarified your priorities, communicating your boundaries becomes the next essential step. This can feel intimidating, especially if you're not used to being assertive, but clear communication helps others understand and respect your limits. You don't have to broadcast them loudly or make dramatic announcements. Often, a simple, polite response is enough. For instance, if someone asks you to take on extra work, consider replying, I appreciate the trust you have in me, but I need to focus on my current responsibilities. This is direct yet respectful and sends a clear message about your capacity. When you communicate boundaries openly, you're not only protecting yourself but also inviting others to see you as someone who values their time and well-being. The true beauty of boundaries lies in their ability to reduce anxiety and create space for what genuinely matters to you. As Seneca once noted, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable." When you let others dictate your schedule, emotions, and focus, you're constantly reacting to life instead of choosing how to live it. Setting boundaries allows you to step back from this reactive state and design a life based on purpose, not pressure. Think about a time when you've overcommitted and felt overwhelmed. Maybe you said yes to attending an event when you really needed rest or agreed to a project you didn't have time for. How did that make you feel? Often such situations leave us drained and resentful, wishing we had respected our initial instincts. By setting clear limits, you're not only protecting yourself from burnout, but also ensuring that your energy goes toward what truly aligns with your values. In today's world, where demands on our time and energy seem endless, boundary setting is more crucial than ever. We live in a society that often praises relentless productivity and self-sacrifice, but at what cost? When you neglect boundaries, you risk losing touch with your own needs, and over time this can lead to stress, anxiety, and even physical exhaustion. Boundaries act as a protective barrier around your mental health. Without them, you might find yourself constantly saying yes out of habit, out of guilt, or even out of a sense of obligation, only to later feel the weight of regret. A Stoic mindset teaches us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our choices, and the way we spend our time. Setting boundaries is about taking responsibility for these choices, ensuring that they serve your well-being rather than draining it. When was the last time you said no to something that didn't serve your goals or values? How did it feel? Often, the initial discomfort of turning down a request is quickly replaced by a sense of relief and empowerment, as you realize that you're prioritizing your own needs and well-being. Saying no is, in essence, saying yes to yourself. The lessons we can learn from setting boundaries are invaluable. They remind us to act with intention, to be true to ourselves, and to prioritize what keeps us balanced and fulfilled. Boundaries are not about isolation. They're about creating an environment where you can thrive, where you are in control of how you invest your time and energy. As you practice setting boundaries, remember that this is a lifelong journey, a skill that grows stronger with each step. Each time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values, you're reinforcing your commitment to a life of purpose and emotional well-being. 4. Fostering independence. Fostering independence is about building a life that draws strength and fulfillment from within, rather than constantly seeking validation or direction from others. Imagine for a moment that your life is like a rich, layered chocolate cake. If you're always relying on someone else to bake it, you're left waiting, hoping that others will serve you the piece you want. But true independence means stepping into the role of the chef in your own kitchen, choosing the ingredients of your happiness and crafting a life that reflects your unique tastes and values. This doesn't mean isolation. Rather, it's about cultivating a solid foundation within yourself so that you can approach relationships and challenges with confidence and self-respect. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius put it, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Independence, then, is a practice of aligning your thoughts with your values and finding contentment in who you are and what you have. One powerful way to foster independence is by discovering activities that genuinely bring you joy and satisfaction without the need for outside approval. Think about a hobby or a skill that you can pursue for its own sake. Maybe it's learning to play a musical instrument, trying your hand at cooking, taking long walks in nature, or dedicating time to physical fitness. When you engage in solo activities like these, you strengthen your inner world and build a relationship with yourself that isn't based on others' opinions or validations. This time spent in your own company helps you develop resilience, patience, and self-reliance, traits that are essential for handling life's ups and downs. Another key aspect of independence is surrounding yourself with people who support your growth without requiring you to conform to their expectations. True friends, mentors, or partners understand that independence is crucial for personal growth and encourage you to stay true to yourself. They don't hold you back with their own fears or insecurities. Instead, they cheer you on as you pursue your goals and respect the boundaries you set for yourself. Have you ever been in a relationship, personal or professional, that made you feel small or trapped, as if you had to shrink parts of yourself to fit in? When you choose to surround yourself with people who value your independence, you create an environment that fosters growth rather than stifles it. Independence doesn't mean cutting off connections. Rather, it's about choosing relationships that empower you to become the best version of yourself. The Stoics believed that true happiness and peace come from within, not from external circumstances. Epictetus taught that, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This idea of mastery over oneself is central to Stoic thought, and it's closely tied to the concept of independence. When you cultivate an inner foundation that's stable and resilient, you become less vulnerable to the shifting tides of others' opinions and external events. By relying on yourself, you build a core of strength that can withstand criticism, rejection, or setbacks, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with calm and confidence. Think about a time when you faced a difficult situation. If your sense of self was rooted in someone else's approval, that experience might have shaken you. But when you draw strength from within, those experiences, while still challenging, don't have the same power to derail your peace of mind. Fostering independence also involves making choices that align with your own values, rather than the values imposed by society or others. In today's world, where we're constantly exposed to social media, trends, and opinions, it's easy to feel pressured to live up to external standards. But independence means taking the time to understand what truly matters to you, your own principles, goals, and dreams, and making decisions based on those. Now, ask yourself, what are the values that guide your life? Do your daily actions reflect those values, or are you often swayed by the expectations of others? When you make decisions from a place of self-awareness, you're able to live a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, one that resonates with who you truly are, not who others expect you to be. Over time, the practice of independence empowers you to handle your emotions and reactions with greater composure. When you're anchored in your own values and driven by your own sense of purpose, external events lose their power to throw you off course. As you strengthen this inner foundation, you'll find that your sense of fulfillment becomes less dependent on what others say or do. Independence doesn't happen overnight. It's a lifelong journey, a practice of returning to yourself, even when the world around you is chaotic. The more you cultivate it, the more resilient you become, able to face life's uncertainties with grace and strength. In nurturing your independence, you create a life that is both fulfilling and resilient, one where your happiness isn't contingent on anyone else's approval or actions. This sense of self-reliance frees you from the constant pull of external expectations, allowing you to enjoy relationships, work, and hobbies from a place of genuine interest and joy, rather than obligation. Remember, independence is not about isolation. It's about creating a stable inner world that can embrace and appreciate connections without losing itself. So take the time to understand what independence means to you. Explore activities that build self-reliance. Surround yourself with supportive people, and always check in with your values. In doing so, you'll find that independence not only strengthens your mind and emotional resilience, but also enriches your relationships and life experiences, creating a life that reflects your truest self. Congratulations on reaching this point. You're serious about transforming your mindset. Comment, "I am in control," to show your dedication to mastering your emotions. Stay tuned. There's plenty more insight to fuel your journey ahead. 5. Developing communication skills. Developing effective communication skills is a fundamental step in mastering your emotions and building strong, meaningful relationships. Good communication serves as the bridge between people, preventing misunderstandings and fostering connections that are rooted in respect and clarity. Think of it as learning to ride a bike. It may feel awkward or challenging at first, but with consistent practice, you gain a sense of balance and control, allowing you to navigate conversations smoothly and confidently. Effective communication isn't just about speaking well, it's also about listening deeply. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This insight serves as a timeless reminder that understanding others requires more than just waiting for your turn to talk. It demands an openness to truly hearing and absorbing what is being said. One of the most powerful components of communication is assertiveness. Assertive communication doesn't mean being confrontational. Rather, it's about expressing your thoughts and feelings honestly, yet with respect for others. Imagine a scenario where someone makes a joke at your expense in front of others. In this moment, you have a choice. You could laugh it off uncomfortably, or you could respond calmly and assertively by saying something like, "I appreciate your humor, but I prefer to be treated with respect." By doing this, you're not only standing up for yourself, but you're also showing others how you wish to be treated, setting a standard for mutual respect in your interactions. Assertiveness builds self-respect, and it signals to others that while you're open to dialogue, you also have boundaries that are worth respecting. Listening is another crucial piece of the communication puzzle, and it's often overlooked. Many people listen only partially, focusing more on crafting their response rather than genuinely absorbing what the other person is saying. True listening, however, is an active skill that involves full presence and attention. When you listen actively, you demonstrate understanding through simple gestures, nodding, asking thoughtful questions, and refraining from interrupting. This approach not only fosters clearer communication, but also reduces emotional misunderstandings. How many conflicts could be avoided if we truly listened instead of preparing our defenses? When we listen mindfully, we honor the speaker's perspective, showing that we value what they have to say, and in turn, this often encourages them to extend the same respect back to us. Active listening builds empathy and helps us understand where the other person is coming from, which is key in managing emotional reactions within conversations. In today's fast-paced digital world, communication has taken on new challenges. With emails, texts, and social media interactions, there's a higher chance for words to be misinterpreted, and emotions can easily spiral as a result. Take the time to be clear and considerate with your words, and if something feels off, don't hesitate to address it calmly and directly. Clear communication helps prevent assumptions and emotional reactions, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. In Stoic terms, by taking responsibility for how we communicate, we cultivate a mind that is less disturbed by misunderstandings and more focused on maintaining harmony. Another important aspect of communication is empathy. Empathy allows us to step outside of our own perspectives and see things from another's point of view, which is incredibly powerful in maintaining healthy relationships. When we approach conversations with empathy, we are less likely to take things personally and more likely to respond with kindness and patience. Think about a recent conversation where you felt heard and understood. How did that affect your mood and your view of the other person? Now imagine providing that same experience to others. Empathy doesn't mean that we have to agree with everyone's opinions, but it does mean acknowledging their feelings and experiences as valid. This approach can diffuse tension, build trust, and allow for more meaningful exchanges. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the belief that we control only our own responses, not those of others. Effective communication, therefore, is about managing how we express ourselves and how we react to others. By improving your communication skills, we can reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings and emotional outbursts, creating interactions that are grounded in respect, clarity, and understanding. Remember that each interaction is an opportunity to strengthen your communication skills and to connect with others on a deeper, more authentic level. By investing in this practice, you're not just enhancing your relationships but also developing a calmer, more balanced approach to life itself. Communication, when done mindfully, becomes a tool not just for expressing thoughts, but for building connections, reducing conflicts, and bringing out the best in ourselves and others. 6. Practicing mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness is like holding a compass for the mind, guiding you through emotional storms without letting them pull you off course. Imagine it as a GPS, quietly directing you through challenging moments, helping you stay grounded and clear-headed even when everything around you seems chaotic. Mindfulness allows you to observe your emotions as they come and go, rather than letting them overwhelm you or drive impulsive reactions. By creating this mental space, you're able to respond to life thoughtfully and intentionally, rather than being pulled along by your emotions. It's a practice that takes time and patience, but each small step strengthens your capacity for calm and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote is a reminder that while we may not control the events around us, we hold immense power over our response to them, and mindfulness is the key to accessing that power. To begin developing mindfulness, consider incorporating short moments of meditation into your daily routine. You don't need hours of silence. Even 5 to 10 minutes of quiet breathing can center your mind and bring you back to a place of calm. Try it in the morning before the day's demands kick in, or in the evening to unwind. During these moments, focus on your breath, on each inhale and exhale, and gently bring your attention back whenever your mind starts to wander. This small practice creates a foundation of inner peace that you can carry throughout your day. Another effective way to practice mindfulness is by bringing it into everyday activities. Whether you're eating, walking, or even washing dishes, try to be fully present in the moment. Notice the sensations, sounds, and details around you, allowing yourself to engage with each experience without rushing or letting your mind drift. By practicing mindfulness in these simple moments, you build resilience that can help you navigate more challenging situations. The Stoics taught that life is a constant ebb and flow of events beyond our control, and mindfulness gives us the skill to stay steady amid these fluctuations. Imagine watching your emotions as though they were clouds drifting across the sky. Some days the sky is bright and clear, while on others, it's filled with dark clouds. But just like the clouds, emotions are temporary. They come and go, passing if you let them, rather than lingering if you chase after them. With mindfulness, you can observe these emotions without getting attached, letting them pass naturally, rather than reacting in ways that could add to your stress. In today's fast-paced, often overwhelming world, mindfulness is more relevant than ever. It can be a tool to help us slow down, reflect, and respond to life's challenges in a more composed manner. Think about how often we rush from task to task, barely pausing to check in with ourselves. By practicing mindfulness, we give ourselves a chance to step back, notice how we're feeling, and approach each task with a fresh perspective. Over time, this can reduce stress, improve our focus, and strengthen our emotional resilience. And it's not just about stress. Mindfulness has been shown to improve relationships as well. When you're fully present with others, listening without thinking of your next response, observing without judgment, you foster deeper connections and a greater sense of empathy. Mindfulness also helps us accept the reality of life's ups and downs. The Stoics knew that life's events are out of our control, but by training ourselves to approach each moment mindfully, we build a mental buffer between our emotions and our responses. Instead of reacting immediately to a stressful event or upsetting news, we can pause, breathe, and choose a response that aligns with our values and goals. This approach doesn't eliminate emotions. It helps us understand and manage them. Imagine the strength you could build by facing life's uncertainties with a calm, mindful presence, unshaken by each setback or success. As you practice mindfulness, you start to see that life's challenges don't have to control your peace of mind. Rather, they become opportunities to deepen your resilience and self-awareness. Over time, incorporating mindfulness into your life creates a more resilient mindset. When practiced regularly, mindfulness gives you the clarity and strength to face life's inevitable storms without getting swept away. Each moment of calm you cultivate, each pause you take, is like building a foundation of mental stability that supports you through both the small annoyances and the bigger challenges. This practice doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it changes your relationship with them, allowing you to approach each situation with greater calm and perspective. So, as you go forward, try weaving mindfulness into your daily life. Start small, be patient, and remember that every effort counts. By cultivating this practice, you're not only building a skill to help you stay present, you're creating a powerful tool for navigating life with greater clarity, emotional strength, and inner peace. 7. Building a support network. Building a support network is one of the most valuable investments you can make for personal growth and emotional resilience. Having strong relationships is like having a well-equipped toolbox. Each person brings unique qualities and perspectives that help you navigate life's complexities. However, while a supportive network can uplift and empower, it's crucial to find a balance between connection and independence. Consider life as a game of Tetris, where each piece is unique and essential for keeping the structure balanced. Similarly, a mix of different types of friends and mentors can bring balance and functionality to your life, each adding a distinct element that helps you stay grounded and adaptable. A reliable support network gives you the freedom to stand on your own, knowing that when challenges arise, you have people you can turn to for both encouragement and honest perspective. Surrounding yourself with people who support and challenge you is essential for long-term growth. Real friends aren't just there to celebrate your successes or to agree with everything you say. They're there to offer constructive feedback and push you to be the best version of yourself. They're the ones who, while cheering you on, aren't afraid to give you a gentle nudge if they see you veering off course. Think of the friends who believe in your dreams but also aren't afraid to ask the tough questions. This balance between encouragement and honesty is what fosters mutual respect and true understanding. The Stoic philosopher Seneca famously said, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." This profound statement reminds us that true support isn't about blind agreement. It's about a shared commitment to each other's growth. When you have people around you who understand and accept you but also aren't afraid to hold you accountable, you gain an invaluable resource for self-discovery and improvement. In today's world, where we're more connected than ever yet, often feel isolated, cultivating meaningful relationships is both a necessity and a challenge. Many people have hundreds of online friends but lack the deep, reliable connections that bring real value. Building a supportive network requires patience and intention. It's not about quantity, but quality. Seek out relationships that inspire you to grow, challenge you to reflect, and remind you of your worth. Sometimes we gravitate toward people who validate our views and comfort us, but it's equally important to have friends who offer a different perspective. A supportive network doesn't just bolster your confidence, it also provides a sounding board during difficult times, helping you to process emotions and make well-thought-out decisions. Friends who know you well can offer insights that you might overlook in times of stress, reminding you of your strengths and helping you see areas for improvement. Imagine the reassurance of knowing that no matter what you're facing, there are people who believe in you, who will stand by you, and who will remind you of your resilience. This kind of support isn't about dependency, but about shared strength. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wisely advised, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Reflecting on the relationships that enrich our lives is part of that privilege, a reminder that while we walk our paths independently, we do not walk alone. Over time, a well-balanced support network encourages you to pursue independence with greater courage, knowing that you have people to lean on if needed. Life's challenges become more manageable when you have a support system that believes in your ability to overcome them. It's like having a safety net that allows you to take risks and strive for goals without the fear of falling alone. The balance between self-reliance and connection is key. A strong support network enhances your independence by providing a foundation of trust and understanding. In your journey toward mastering your mind and emotions, remember that your relationships are not just companions, they're resources of strength, resilience, and perspective. In the end, building a support network is about creating an environment that encourages you to be your best self. Seek relationships that nurture, challenge, and empower you, rather than those that drain or diminish you. Choose friends who add value to your life and align with your values. Friends who will stand by you not just in easy times, but when life's storms arrive. Remember that true friendship, as the Stoics taught, is built on mutual respect, understanding, and a commitment to each other's growth. When you cultivate these kinds of relationships, you build a network that not only helps you navigate life's challenges but also enriches your journey in ways that go beyond the ordinary. 8. Focusing on personal goals. Focusing on personal goals is crucial for creating a life that aligns with your values rather than being swayed by the emotions, expectations, or agendas of others. Think of your goals as a target in the distance. The clearer and more defined your aim, the less likely you are to be sidetracked by the noise around you. Without a clear direction, it's all too easy to get swept up in the ambitions of others or feel pressured to meet standards that don't truly resonate with you. Setting personal goals provides a strong sense of purpose, acting as a guide that keeps you grounded, helping you establish emotional boundaries that protect your mental space. This approach is deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control what happens around us or how others behave, we do have control over our own focus and priorities. As Marcus Aurelius famously stated, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful message urges us to take decisive action in our lives, rather than getting bogged down in endless deliberation or distraction. By setting clear goals, we can start living with intention, pursuing what truly matters without getting lost in the noise. Begin by identifying specific, achievable goals that align with your values. Goals don't have to be grand or ambitious. They just need to be meaningful to you. When you have a clear direction, it brings a sense of fulfillment and shields you from the emotional chaos that can come from following others' expectations. Setting personal goals not only gives you something to strive for, but also provides a filter, allowing you to discern which influences are worth your attention and which are distractions. Imagine someone who sets a goal to improve their health through regular exercise. By focusing on this purpose, they are less likely to be swayed by friends who invite them to skip workouts or indulge in habits that don't align with their health goals. Each choice becomes a small step toward their larger purpose, helping them maintain a clear mind and avoid unnecessary emotional baggage. If you don't have a defined direction, it's easy to fall into the trap of adopting others' goals, which often leads to frustration, resentment, and confusion. When we chase after what others think we should achieve, whether it's career success, material wealth, or certain social expectations, we risk disconnecting from what brings us genuine fulfillment. In today's world, where we're constantly exposed to others' accomplishments and lifestyles, staying true to personal goals requires a firm commitment. A man in his 60s decides to spend his retirement learning a musical instrument, something he always dreamed of but never pursued due to career and family obligations. Now, free from others' expectations, he dedicates himself to this goal, finding joy and purpose in each small improvement. By focusing on a personal goal that resonates with him, he gains a new sense of fulfillment, proving that it's never too late to pursue what truly matters. This example illustrates how powerful it can be to focus on personal goals, no matter what stage of life you're in. When you set your sights on what genuinely excites and fulfills you, external distractions lose their hold, and you're better equipped to handle life's inevitable challenges with resilience and purpose. Building and maintaining focus on personal goals also requires you to resist the temptation to carry emotional burdens that aren't yours. Often, We get pulled into others' concerns or worries, feeling a responsibility to solve their problems or take on their stress. But when you're clear about your goals, it becomes easier to recognize when to offer support and when to step back, allowing others to manage their own paths. Maintaining this balance keeps your emotional energy focused on your priorities. It's not about being selfish, it's about respecting your own mental space and understanding that you're most effective when you're aligned with your purpose. This clarity enables you to be a better support to others, as you're operating from a place of strength and inner peace rather than feeling overwhelmed or scattered. Staying focused on personal goals allows you to live intentionally, cultivating a life that reflects your true self rather than the influence of others. When you know where you're going, you have the strength to say no to distractions and stay aligned with your vision. This focus doesn't mean you close yourself off from others. Instead, it allows you to engage with others from a position of clarity and confidence, knowing that you're not compromising your own path. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best way to live is not to debate endlessly on what a good life should look like, but to create it with clear actions that align with our values. In focusing on your own goals, you are not only creating a fulfilling life for yourself, but also inspiring those around you to do the same. If you're still watching, you're already building the foundation for a stronger, calmer self. Type, "I'm ready for change" in the comments to mark the start of your journey. Don't miss what's coming up next. This is just the beginning. Is just the 9. Seeking therapy if necessary. Seeking therapy when necessary is a powerful step in mastering your mind and emotions. It's easy to think that we should be able to handle everything on our own, but there are times when a professional perspective can provide the insight and support we need. Imagine your mind as a complex orchestra, each emotion playing its own part. At times, the instruments may clash, creating a sense of internal chaos rather than harmony. In this metaphor, a skilled therapist acts as the conductor, bringing order, balance, and understanding to your inner world. Therapy isn't a sign of weakness. It's a tool for resilience and a journey into self-discovery, one that allows you to better understand yourself and take charge of your mental and emotional well-being. As Epictetus wisely said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Therapy can be a path to embodying the principles you value most, helping you turn philosophical ideals into lived experience by giving you the tools to understand and master your reactions. One of the greatest benefits of therapy is that it brings to light patterns in your thoughts and behaviors that might otherwise remain hidden. Many of us walk through life reacting to things without understanding the root causes of those reactions. Why does a particular situation trigger anger or anxiety? Why does a certain comment affect you so deeply? Therapy offers a safe space to explore these questions and uncover the beliefs and past experiences that shape your responses. By talking about your experiences, you gain clarity on why you feel a certain way in specific situations. This heightened self-awareness isn't just about identifying problems, it's about empowering you to create positive change. The Stoic philosophers encouraged self-examination as a path to strength, and therapy embodies this approach by helping you understand your mind in a way that leads to greater control and resilience. A modern story of a man who, after years of internalizing stress and responsibilities, finally decides to seek therapy when he notices his health and relationships starting to suffer. He finds that through therapy, he can talk openly about the fears and pressures he's kept bottled up for years. He learns that some of his reactions are tied to deeply ingrained beliefs about success and self-worth, beliefs he didn't even realize he held. With this new awareness, he begins to make subtle but meaningful changes, learning to set boundaries, communicate openly, and prioritize his well-being. Therapy doesn't change his responsibilities or eliminate life's pressures, but it does give him a healthier perspective and the tools to respond more constructively. This journey illustrates how powerful it can be to seek help when emotions feel overwhelming and life feels unmanageable. Therapy doesn't remove the challenges, but it teaches us how to face them with greater clarity and calm. When emotions feel overpowering, therapy provides both structure and support. Rather than letting emotions dictate your actions, Therapy offers a framework for understanding and managing them. In many ways, it's like learning to drive. You're given the tools to navigate even when the road gets bumpy. Therapy helps you identify the early signs of stress or emotional triggers, allowing you to regain control before those feelings escalate. This guidance can be life-changing, especially when faced with intense or recurring emotions. Have you ever felt like anger or sadness was steering your life, leading to decisions you later regretted? Therapy teaches you to pause, observe those feelings, and choose how to respond rather than react. This shift can restore balance and allow you to engage with life in a way that feels intentional and grounded. Therapy also fosters accountability, challenging you to take an active role in your own healing and growth. It's a process that requires honesty, effort, and a willingness to look at parts of yourself you may have avoided. But through this process, you come to understand yourself more deeply and gain the confidence to face whatever life brings. Therapy teaches you to embrace your emotions without being ruled by them, turning self-awareness into a tool for personal empowerment. As you work with a therapist, you learn to confront and reshape your mindset, embodying the strength and balance that the Stoics valued so highly. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Therapy is a way to improve the quality of your thoughts, allowing you to cultivate a more resilient, positive, and peaceful mind. In a world where mental health still carries stigma, it's important to view therapy as a valuable and courageous choice. Far from being a last resort, therapy can be a proactive step toward building a stronger, healthier mind. Rather than struggling in silence, therapy gives you the tools to engage with life more fully, improving not only your relationship with yourself, but also with others. Seeking help is a sign of strength, a recognition that you value yourself enough to invest in your own growth and well-being. At the end of the day, therapy teaches us that we have more control over our emotions and reactions than we might realize. It empowers us to respond to life's ups and downs with clarity and compassion, making us more resilient, focused, and fulfilled. In taking this step, you embody the Stoic ideal of living with wisdom and courage, embracing both the highs and lows of life with a steady, empowered mind. 10. Being patient with yourself. Patience is essential on the journey toward mastering your mind and emotions. Think of patience as the foundation upon which emotional resilience is built. It's the steady hand that allows you to handle challenges without getting discouraged by setbacks. Learning to manage emotions is much like learning any new skill. Picture it as learning to ride a bike. You'll stumble, fall, and lose balance more times than you can count at the beginning. Yet, with time and practice, each fall becomes part of the process, helping you gain steadiness and confidence. This is the role of patience in our emotional growth. It allows us to stay committed without expecting perfection immediately. Remember the words of Seneca, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." This quote reminds us that each step, whether it's a success or a mistake, is simply part of a larger journey. In life, beginnings and endings are often entwined, and by being patient with yourself, you can view setbacks not as failures, but as necessary parts of growth. One of the key components of patience is self-compassion. In moments of emotional struggle, we're often our own harshest critics, quick to judge ourselves for perceived failures or lapses in control. However, self-compassion allows you to approach these moments with kindness, asking, "What can I learn from this experience?" rather than, "Why did I mess up again?" The Stoics believed that every obstacle offers an opportunity for growth, and embracing this perspective encourages resilience. Each time you struggle with anger, sadness, or impatience, there's a lesson waiting to be discovered. Instead of criticizing yourself, reflect on how you can use the experience to build a stronger foundation for the future. If you lose your temper in a difficult situation, use it as a chance to examine what triggered you and how you might approach similar moments with more composure next time. This practice turns setbacks into valuable insights, each one bringing you closer to mastering your emotional reactions. Patience also involves celebrating small victories along the way. When we're working on emotional growth, it's easy to overlook the incremental progress we make, focusing instead on the gap between where we are and where we want to be. But each small achievement, whether it's a moment of calm in a usually stressful situation or the ability to let go of a minor irritation, is worth acknowledging. When you practice gratitude for these moments, you reinforce your commitment to growth, reminding yourself that each step forward, no matter how small, is significant. This approach aligns with the Stoic view that progress is built gradually, through consistent, deliberate actions rather than dramatic changes. By recognizing your efforts, you create a positive cycle that strengthens your patience and motivates you to keep moving forward. In today's fast-paced world, patience with oneself can feel especially challenging. We're surrounded by messages of instant success, quick fixes, and overnight transformations which can create unrealistic expectations. But true emotional mastery is a lifelong journey, not a sprint. Real growth comes from understanding that personal development doesn't follow a linear path, and that setbacks are not failures, but rather part of the process. Have you ever noticed how much pressure we put on ourselves to have everything figured out? In reality, each day offers a new opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow, and by being patient, we give ourselves the space to make lasting changes. The Stoic approach encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our attitudes, and our actions, without getting frustrated by how long the journey may take. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, you can find strength in each step, knowing that true mastery comes from patience and persistence. Embracing patience means accepting that progress may be slow, but steady. It's about being gentle with yourself as you navigate the challenges that arise. Practicing patience doesn't mean avoiding high standards. Rather, it means understanding that growth takes time and that the most meaningful changes often occur gradually. Think of a gardener nurturing a seed. The plant doesn't sprout overnight, but with consistent care, it grows into something resilient and lasting. In the same way, by showing yourself patience, you create the conditions for deep, enduring personal transformation. Each small victory is a step in the right direction, and by maintaining a patient perspective, you allow yourself the freedom to grow without the burden of perfectionism. Ultimately, by being patient with yourself, you build a foundation of resilience and self-understanding. This patience allows you to view challenges as stepping stones rather than barriers. Instead of expecting yourself to be perfect right away, you recognize that personal growth is a process that unfolds over time. Each day, each experience, whether it feels like a success or a setback, contributes to your overall development. So, as you continue on this journey to master your mind and emotions, remind yourself to be patient, to forgive yourself for the times you stumble, and to celebrate the progress you make along the way. Remember that emotional mastery is not a destination but a journey, one that rewards those who walk it with perseverance and patience. So the next time you find yourself swept up in the tides of emotion, remember, a calm mind and a patient heart are your greatest strengths on this journey. The path to mastering your mind and controlling your emotions starts with self-compassion. If you've made it this far, share your commitment by commenting, "I choose peace and resilience." We'd love to hear your stories and insights. If you found value in today's video, please give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in your life. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos on building inner strength and living with purpose. Thank you for being here with us. We're grateful for your support, and we'll see you in the next video. Eight. Stoic lessons that helped me find enthusiasm for life. Stoicism. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Today, we're diving into a topic that has been a game changer for me, and I believe it can make a big difference in your life too. I'm going to share with you 8 Stoic lessons that helped me rediscover joy and enthusiasm, even during tough times. If you're looking for ways to navigate life's challenges with more resilience and find deeper meaning, you're in the right place. So, make yourself comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and join me as we explore how the wisdom of Stoicism can transform our outlook and help us live a more fulfilled, enthusiastic life. I'm excited to share these 8 lessons with you, each paired with insightful quotes from Stoic philosophers and practical guidance on how to apply them in your own life. Let's get right into it. First lesson, the importance of letting go. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Seneca. This simple yet profound quote encapsulates one of the most important lessons in life: the art of letting go. When we talk about letting go, it's not about giving up or resigning yourself to defeat. It's about releasing what no longer serves you, whether it's past experiences, toxic relationships, or unrealistic expectations. Learning to let go can feel counterintuitive, especially when society often pushes the narrative of relentless perseverance. However, Stoicism teaches us that to truly live well, we must recognize and release our attachments to things beyond our control. Think of it like trying to carry a heavy bag throughout your life. The longer you hold on to it, the more drained and weary you become. The Stoics believed that true freedom and peace come not from accumulating more, but from learning to let go of what weighs us down. In my own life, there was a time when I held on to relationships that no longer nurtured me, hoping against hope that things would change. I clung to expectations that weren't rooted in reality, convinced that if I just tried harder, everything would fall into place. But the truth is, not everything is within our control. Epictetus famously said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." This was a hard pill to swallow, but when I began to understand and practice this principle, I felt a sense of liberation I hadn't known before. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about gaining space for the things that truly matter. It's about freeing your mind, your emotions, and your energy so you can direct them toward what brings you genuine joy and fulfillment. In modern life, we often hold on to ideas, jobs, and even people that create more stress than happiness, out of fear of the unknown or change. Social media compounds this by showing us curated versions of others' lives, leading us to cling even harder to false ideals and unhealthy comparisons. This is why letting go is more relevant now than ever. We need to understand that our value doesn't come from these external factors. It comes from within. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means understanding that there are things in life we can influence and others we cannot. The key is knowing the difference and focusing our efforts on the former. Letting go doesn't mean that you stop caring. It means that you start caring for the right things. When you hold on to grudges, past mistakes, or unattainable goals, you cloud your ability to see and appreciate the present. There was a time when I would replay old arguments in my head, thinking of what I could have said or done differently. But those thoughts were chains, and I realized that by holding on to them, I was preventing myself from moving forward. One of the most powerful realizations from Stoic philosophy is that holding on to anger or resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. In contrast, letting go is like dropping a heavy load and feeling lighter, more agile, and free to move in any direction. For men, particularly those aged 30 to 65, this concept of letting go can be especially difficult. We are often taught that strength is about persistence and endurance, but there's another kind of strength, one that involves knowing when to release, when to say no more, and when to walk away. This applies not only to emotions, but also to career paths, friendships, and even dreams that no longer align with who you are or who you wish to become. It takes courage to acknowledge that something is no longer serving you, and even more courage to let it go. But as Seneca wisely advised, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. By letting go, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new people, and new experiences that may have been obscured by your attachment to the past. When we practice letting go, we must also embrace the concept of impermanence. Everything in life changes, and nothing is truly permanent. This realization isn't meant to cause despair, but to empower us to cherish what we have while it's here, and to let it go when it's time. Imagine holding sand in your hand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, you can enjoy its presence without trying to control it. This metaphor applies to relationships, goals, and even your own self-image. The Stoics remind us to be flexible and adaptable, which is essential in a world that's constantly changing. As you navigate through life, remember to allow yourself the grace to change direction and to let go when needed. It's not always easy. The process of letting go can be uncomfortable, and there will be moments when the old attachments call you back. But this is where self-awareness and patience come into play. Take time to reflect on what is truly within your control and what is not. Identify what's weighing you down, and ask yourself if holding on to it is helping or hindering your progress. Use meditation, journaling, or simply quiet moments of introspection to work through these thoughts. The journey to letting go isn't a one-time event, but a continuous practice, much like the teachings of Stoicism itself. And each time you let go of something unnecessary, you make more space for what truly enriches your life. So, what can you do today? Start by taking stock of your life. Are there things you're holding on to out of habit or fear? Is there a grudge you've been nurturing, a past mistake that haunts you, or an expectation that no longer fits your current reality? Make a conscious effort to release them. Remember, letting go isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It's knowing that your peace of mind is worth more than the comfort of familiarity. As you move forward, keep this wisdom close to your heart. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, as Marcus Aurelius said. Letting go allows you to focus on your growth, your happiness, and your journey, free from the chains of the past. Letting go is about understanding what you can control, releasing what you cannot, and making peace with the present. It's about clearing out mental and emotional clutter so you can see your life clearly and live it fully. This is not just a Stoic principle, but a timeless truth that can bring more harmony, balance, and enthusiasm into your everyday life. Letting go is a powerful practice, and it's one that can help you find the space to breathe, to grow, and to truly live. Second lesson, accepting mortality. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what is left and live it properly. This powerful message from Marcus Aurelius cuts straight to the heart of a concept many of us try to avoid, our own mortality. In a world that often glorifies eternal youth and staying busy, accepting the inevitability of death can seem like a grim or even morbid exercise. However, in Stoicism, acknowledging mortality is not about dwelling on death. It's about using the knowledge of our limited time as a driving force to live more fully and authentically. When we accept that life is finite, we start to see every moment, every choice, and every opportunity as precious. So why do we spend so much time worrying about things we can't control, or putting off things that matter most to us? Accepting that our days are numbered might seem daunting, but it can also be liberating. It gives us permission to let go of trivial anxieties, to be present, and to pursue what truly brings us joy. There's a story that perfectly encapsulates this idea. A man I once knew spent most of his life working long hours, chasing career success, thinking he could always make up for the lost time with his family later. He thought there would be plenty of time for vacations, hobbies, and reconnecting with old friends once he had made it. But life had other plans, and one day he received a health diagnosis that forced him to confront the fragility of his own life. Suddenly, all those hours spent at the office seemed trivial, and the things he had postponed, like his passion for painting or spending weekends with his kids, took on a new urgency. He made a choice to change his lifestyle, not because he feared death, but because he realized the importance of truly living while he still could. In the end, he found more satisfaction in those few years of meaningful living than in the decades he had spent chasing external success. This is the reality that Stoicism encourages us to grasp without needing a wake-up call. We don't have to wait for a life-changing moment to start appreciating what we have. The Stoic philosophy of accepting mortality invites us to reflect on a fundamental question. If you knew you only had a year left to live, how would you spend it? It's a simple yet profound question that forces us to prioritize, to strip away the unnecessary, and to focus on what genuinely matters. Too often, we act as though we have all the time in the world, getting caught up in daily stresses, small disagreements, and endless to-do lists. We tell ourselves that we'll make time for our passions, relationships, and self-care tomorrow. But sometimes, tomorrow never comes. By embracing the fact that our time is finite, we can stop wasting it on things that drain us and start investing it in things that uplift us. It's about cultivating gratitude, not for what we wish we had, but for what we already have, right here and now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not meant to be a depressing thought. Instead, it's a reminder to live with intention and to appreciate the moments that make up our days. Think about your own life for a moment. Are there things you've been putting off because you assume there will always be time to do them later? Maybe it's a call to an old friend you've lost touch with, a skill you've been meaning to learn, or a project you keep delaying because you're waiting for the right time. What if you didn't have that time? This isn't about creating fear, but rather about inspiring action. Accepting mortality is about understanding that life is happening right now, not at some distant point in the future when all conditions are perfect. It's about choosing to make the most of the present instead of being stuck in the past or anxiously awaiting the future. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." How much time do we waste scrolling through social media, worrying about things that may never happen, or replaying old mistakes in our minds? How much of our precious energy is spent on regrets, on things we cannot change? In today's fast-paced, achievement-oriented world, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our worth is tied to our productivity and success. We are often taught that the goal is to build a legacy, to achieve something so great that it will outlast us. But Stoicism teaches us that the value of life is not measured in how long we live or how much we accomplish, but in how well we live. It's about the quality of our interactions, the kindness we show, and the passions we pursue. When we accept that we are mortal, we stop chasing after endless accomplishments and start finding fulfillment in simpler, more profound things, like a quiet morning walk, a heartfelt conversation, or the satisfaction of doing something meaningful, no matter how small it might seem. It's important to understand that accepting mortality doesn't mean living recklessly or without caution. On the contrary, it means living thoughtfully and deliberately, with an awareness of what truly matters. It means being mindful of how we spend our time, who we spend it with, and what we give our energy to. This is the essence of the Stoic practice of memento mori, or remember you will die. It's not about being morbid, but about being mindful, using the awareness of death as a tool to live a richer, fuller life. When we understand that our time is limited, we are more likely to say yes to what excites us and no to what drains us. We find the courage to take risks, to step out of our comfort zones, and to live authentically because we understand that our time is our most valuable resource. So, how can you start incorporating this perspective into your daily life? Begin by asking yourself, what is truly important to me? What do I want to be remembered for? Not in a grand public sense, but by the people I love and care about. If you were to reflect on your life today, would you feel content with how you've spent your time, or would you have regrets? It's never too late to realign your life with your values. You don't have to wait for a major life event to start living with intention. Take small steps every day to make time for what matters, whether it's spending a few extra minutes with your loved ones, pursuing a hobby that brings you joy, or simply taking a moment to breathe and appreciate the world around you. Accepting mortality isn't about fearing the end. It's about embracing life more fully, knowing that it's fleeting. It's about using the knowledge of our inevitable end as a guide to make the most of the time we have, to focus on what's real, and to let go of what's trivial. It's a call to live with passion, purpose, and a deep appreciation for every moment we are given. Remember the words of Epictetus: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the heart of Stoicism, learning to live gracefully, purposefully, and with the understanding that our time is precious, so we must spend it wisely. Third lesson, the importance of self-discipline. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. These are the wise words of Epictetus, and they remind us that self-discipline is at the core of living a fulfilling life. Without it, we are like a ship lost at sea, drifting without a destination. Self-discipline is about making the decision to commit to something, even when it's challenging or inconvenient, because you understand its importance in the long run. Think about how often we set goals for ourselves, whether it's to eat healthier, exercise regularly, learn a new skill, or simply be more productive. We start with great enthusiasm, but as time passes, it gets harder to stick to our plans. Why? Because self-discipline requires effort, and that effort is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. But what if we could train ourselves to be more disciplined? How different would our lives look if we mastered the art of staying committed, even when it's not easy? Self-discipline is not just about strict routines and restrictions. It's about understanding what truly matters to you and making sure your actions align with those values. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote perfectly captures the essence of self-discipline. It's about taking control of your mind and your actions, rather than letting external circumstances dictate how you live your life. Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing that the habits you've built are taking you closer to your goals, rather than drifting away from them. That's the power of self-discipline. It gives you the tools to build the life you truly want, one small step at a time. A common misconception is that self-discipline means living a life of deprivation or constant struggle. But in reality, it's about freedom. The freedom to choose your actions and not be controlled by fleeting desires, impulses, or distractions. For example, think about how easy it is to get caught up in scrolling through social media or binge-watching shows for hours. It feels satisfying in the moment, but afterward, you might feel regret for not using that time in a way that contributes to your growth or well-being. Self-discipline helps you recognize these patterns and make better choices. It's not about cutting out all pleasures, but about being mindful of how you spend your time and energy. As Seneca said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." Now I'd like to ask you a question. What are the things that you've always wanted to do but never seemed to get around to? Is there a book you've been meaning to read, a project you've wanted to start, or a fitness goal you've set countless times only to fall back into old habits? Self-discipline can be the bridge between your aspirations and your reality. It helps you prioritize, focus, and take consistent action towards your goals, but it also requires self-awareness. You need to understand your weaknesses, the things that easily distract you, and create strategies to deal with them. This is where setting clear, realistic goals comes in. When you know what you're working towards, it becomes easier to push through the discomfort that comes with building new habits. Consider the story of someone who decided to change their life through self-discipline. Let's say there was a man who was overweight and always felt tired, but he dreamed of running a marathon. At first, the idea seemed impossible. He struggled to jog even a few minutes without stopping, and every time he tried, he felt like giving up. But instead of seeing the distance to his goal as overwhelming, he decided to break it down into smaller, manageable steps. He committed to jogging for just 10 minutes every day. The first week was tough, but he stuck with it. As the weeks went by, those 10 minutes turned into 20, then 30, and soon he was running miles without stopping. Over time, his persistence paid off, and not only did he lose weight, but he also completed the marathon he had once thought was out of reach. This is the power of self-discipline. It turns small, consistent actions into major achievements. But why is self-discipline so difficult for so many of us? One reason is that we live in a world that encourages instant gratification. We want things to happen quickly, without much effort, and when they don't, we get frustrated and give up. But real growth doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires patience and perseverance. Think about planting a tree. You don't see it grow in a day, but you water it, nurture it, and over time, it becomes something strong and beautiful. The same goes for your goals. Self-discipline teaches you to stay focused on the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. As Aristotle wisely said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So, how can you start building self-discipline in your life? Begin by setting clear, realistic goals that are meaningful to you. Ask yourself, what do I really want to achieve? Then, break that goal into smaller steps and commit to doing something, no matter how small, every day to get closer to it. It's also important to track your progress. When you see how far you've come, it will motivate you to keep going. But perhaps the most important aspect is to be kind to yourself. Self-discipline doesn't mean you won't make mistakes or have setbacks. It's about getting back on track when you do. Don't be discouraged by failures, instead learn from them and keep moving forward. Lastly, remember that self-discipline is a practice. It's something you build over time, not a switch you can turn on overnight. There will be days when it feels easy and days when it's incredibly hard, but every time you choose to stick with it, you're strengthening that muscle, and the benefits go beyond achieving your goals. You'll find that self-discipline gives you confidence, resilience, and a sense of accomplishment. It's about becoming the kind of person who can trust themselves to follow through, who doesn't need external motivation because they've built a strong internal drive. As you cultivate this, you'll notice changes not just in your productivity, but in your overall outlook on life. So, take a moment to think. What's one area of your life where you can start applying more self-discipline today? Maybe it's setting a limit on screen time, committing to a morning routine, or dedicating time each day to something you're passionate about. Whatever it is, start small, be consistent, and remember that every little step counts. The road to success isn't about giant leaps, it's about steady, deliberate progress. As the Stoic philosophers understood, and as you'll come to realize, self-discipline is the key to unlocking your full potential and leading a life that's not just successful but deeply fulfilling. Thank you for being here with us today. Before we dive into the next part, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude. It's a privilege to have you as part of the Stoic in Your Life community. Your support means everything, so feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. If you're new here, just say, "I am a newbie," and if you've been with us for a while, let us know with "I am Stoic." Your engagement is not just appreciated, it's a huge motivation for us to keep bringing you valuable content. Now let's continue this journey together, shall we? Fourth lesson, living with purpose. To live a fulfilled life, it's not enough to merely exist. One must live with intention and purpose, said Seneca. This Stoic principle is not just an ancient piece of wisdom, but a timeless guide that can help anyone lead a meaningful life. Living with purpose means knowing what you stand for, what your values are, and letting those values guide your actions every day. Many of us get caught up in the daily grind, work, chores, errands, without ever pausing to think about why we do what we do. We may chase success, status, or comfort, but without a deeper purpose driving us, these pursuits often leave us feeling empty. Think about it. How often do you ask yourself what really matters to you? How often do you make decisions based on your core values, rather than on what society expects or what seems easy at the moment? Living with purpose is about finding clarity on these questions and aligning your life with what truly brings you satisfaction and meaning. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This underscores the importance of a well-defined purpose. When you have a clear direction, it shapes your thoughts and guides your actions, helping you navigate through life's challenges with more confidence and less stress. But living with purpose is not about having everything figured out from the start. It's about making a conscious effort to reflect on what is important and making small adjustments each day to stay on course. It might start with something as simple as deciding to be a more attentive father, a more reliable friend, or someone who treats every person they encounter with kindness and respect. Over time, these small acts of purpose build up, giving your life a sense of direction and fulfillment that is far deeper than any temporary pleasure. Take the example of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of concentration camps during World War II. In his famous book, Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl explains that those who found a reason to live even in the most unbearable conditions were the ones who endured. He famously said, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." This insight aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings. No matter what obstacles life throws your way, a strong sense of purpose will keep you grounded, helping you endure hardships and move forward. So, ask yourself, what is your why? What drives you to get up each morning, even on days when everything seems difficult? By clarifying this, you can navigate life with more resilience and strength. Living with purpose also means setting clear goals that reflect your values. Goals should not just be about achieving material success or gaining recognition. They should be a reflection of what you stand for. For example, if you value health, a goal might be to maintain a balanced diet and exercise regularly. If you value learning, it might be to read a new book each month or acquire a new skill. The point is, these goals give you a sense of direction and make your actions more intentional. The Stoics believed that to live well, one must live in accordance with nature and reason. This means understanding what is within your control and focusing your energy on actions that align with your core values. It's not about being rigid, but about being flexible and adaptable, while still staying true to what is important to you. Today's world is filled with distractions that can easily pull us off course. Social media, endless entertainment options, and constant pressures to meet certain standards can cloud our sense of purpose. We may find ourselves living for others' expectations rather than for our own beliefs and desires. But the moment you decide to live with purpose, you start to regain control. You begin to set boundaries and make conscious choices that serve your long-term well-being, not just short-term gratification. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Living with purpose allows you to take charge of your own life, to be the master of your actions rather than letting external circumstances dictate how you feel and act. However, finding your purpose is not always straightforward. It takes time, reflection, and sometimes a bit of trial and error. You may need to try different things to discover what truly resonates with you. Perhaps you've spent years working a job that pays the bills, but doesn't make you feel fulfilled. Or maybe you've been in relationships that didn't allow you to grow. Living with purpose means having the courage to make changes when you realize that something isn't working. It's about daring to ask yourself tough questions. What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? How do I want to be remembered by those around me? And most importantly, am I living today in a way that brings me closer to that vision? Think about the people you admire most. Chances are they are not the ones who had everything handed to them, but those who faced adversity, made hard choices, and stayed true to their purpose. Whether it's a family member who worked tirelessly to support their loved ones, or a public figure who dedicated their life to a cause, their sense of purpose gave them the strength to overcome obstacles and continue moving forward, even when the journey was tough. This is not just the domain of famous heroes, it's something each of us can cultivate. By choosing to live with purpose, We tap into a source of inner strength that keeps us moving forward no matter the challenges. So, how can you start living with more purpose today? Begin by taking a moment to reflect on your values. What do you care about deeply? What brings you a sense of joy and fulfillment? Once you have identified these, think about how you can incorporate them into your daily routine. Maybe it's as simple as spending more quality time with your family, volunteering for a cause that matters to you, or dedicating time each week to a passion project. The key is to make sure your actions align with your values, even in small ways, because these small, consistent efforts will eventually lead to greater clarity and purpose. And remember, living with purpose is not about having a perfectly mapped out life. It's about having a compass that guides you, even when the path is uncertain. Living with purpose doesn't mean life will be free of challenges, but it does mean that you will be better equipped to handle them. When you are clear about what matters most to you, setbacks and failures don't feel like the end of the road. They are simply detours that offer lessons and opportunities for growth. As you go through life, remind yourself of this simple yet powerful quote from Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is a call to action to live authentically, to act with integrity, and to let your values lead the way. In doing so, you not only create a life of meaning for yourself, but also inspire those around you to do the same. Ultimately, living with purpose means waking up each day with a sense of clarity, knowing that every step you take brings you closer to a life that feels true and fulfilling. It's about finding joy in the journey, not just in the destination. So, as you go forward, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that aligns with my values and brings me closer to my purpose? Let that question be your guide, and you'll find that even in the most uncertain times, you have a sense of direction that keeps you grounded and motivated. Living with purpose is not just a Stoic lesson. It's a way of life that can transform how you see the world and how you engage with it every single day. Fifth lesson, self-compassion. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. These words from Marcus Aurelius might sound harsh, but when you dig deeper, they speak to a profound truth about the need for self-compassion. You see, many people misunderstand self-compassion. They think it means letting themselves off the hook or being too lenient. In reality, self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness, patience, and understanding that you would show a good friend. It's about acknowledging that you too are human and, like everyone else, are bound to make mistakes. But how often do we speak kindly to ourselves when things go wrong? More often than not, we're our own harshest critics, replaying our failures in our minds and being far more critical of ourselves than we would ever be of others. Let's be honest. When was the last time you truly forgave yourself for a mistake or allowed yourself to grow without the weight of self-doubt? Think about a time when you missed a deadline at work, messed up a presentation, or just didn't meet your expectations. Did you find yourself dwelling on it for hours, maybe even days, criticizing every little detail of where you went wrong? Now consider how you would react if a friend came to you with the same problem. Would you berate them, or would you reassure them, telling them to learn from it and move on? Self-compassion invites you to do the same for yourself. It's not about ignoring your mistakes or pretending everything is okay when it isn't. It's about recognizing that mistakes are part of the process of growth. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This reminds us that setbacks don't define us. Our response to them does. Self-compassion allows you to face challenges without fear, because you know that no matter the outcome, you will treat yourself with gentleness and care. A friend of mine once struggled with this concept. He was someone who always pushed himself hard, expecting nothing less than perfection in every aspect of his life. But the more he chased perfection, the more he felt like he was failing. He would stay up late trying to fix every little detail at work, but it only left him feeling exhausted and anxious. One day, after yet another sleepless night, he realized he needed a change. He began to practice self-compassion, something he hadn't done before. It started small. He set boundaries on his work hours, made a point to praise himself for his efforts instead of just the outcomes, and allowed himself to make mistakes without harsh judgment. Slowly, he noticed a shift. He felt lighter, less burdened, and ironically, he became more productive and happier at work. What he learned was that by being kinder to himself, he didn't just reduce his stress. He opened the door to greater creativity, resilience, and joy. In today's fast-paced world, where we are constantly bombarded with messages of success, productivity, and self-improvement, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that self-compassion is a sign of weakness. But ask yourself, how can you keep moving forward if every misstep is met with harsh criticism? Imagine trying to teach a child how to ride a bike. If every time they fell you scolded them, they would soon lose the confidence to try again. But if you encouraged them, reminded them that falling is part of the learning process, and celebrated their progress, they would keep trying until they succeeded. The same principle applies to adults. Self-compassion isn't about lowering your standards, it's about acknowledging that growth is messy and that's okay. The journey to improvement isn't a straight line, and there will be bumps along the way. What matters is that you keep getting back up and moving forward. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself paralyzed by the fear of failure, so much so that you didn't even try? Or maybe you've been so hard on yourself for not achieving something that you didn't give yourself credit for the progress you did make. If so, you're not alone, and that's where self-compassion can make a huge difference. When you're kind to yourself, you create a safe space to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without the fear of self-reproach. It's about having an inner voice that says, "It's okay, you're doing your best, and that's enough for now." It's about forgiving yourself when things don't go as planned and using those experiences as lessons rather than reasons to beat yourself up. The Stoics, despite their emphasis on discipline, understood the value of self-compassion. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This is a reminder that no one has it all figured out, and expecting perfection is not just unrealistic but also damaging. You will stumble, you will fall, and that's a given. But those who practice self-compassion see these moments not as failures, but as essential steps in their journey. They understand that progress is made through effort and that setbacks are not the end but an opportunity to learn, adjust, and move forward with renewed strength. One practical way to cultivate self-compassion is to start paying attention to your self-talk. The next time you find yourself in a challenging situation, listen to how you're speaking to yourself. Are you being critical, harsh, or dismissive? If so, try to shift that dialogue to something more compassionate. Instead of saying, "I'm such a failure for not getting this right," say, "I'm trying my best, and it's okay to make mistakes. What can I learn from this?" Over time, this kind of self-awareness can transform how you handle setbacks, making you more resilient and less prone to anxiety and stress. Another method is to practice self-care, taking time for activities that relax and recharge you, whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or simply breathing deeply for a few minutes can reinforce the message that you deserve kindness, especially from yourself. The beauty of self-compassion is that it's not just about feeling good. It's about creating the conditions for genuine growth. When you stop being your own harshest critic, you begin to see possibilities where there were once only obstacles. You become more willing to try new things because the fear of failure no longer holds you back. You become more forgiving of yourself, which allows you to extend that same compassion to others, improving your relationships and overall well-being. Self-compassion teaches you that you are worthy of the same kindness and patience that you show to others. It reminds you that being tough on yourself doesn't make you stronger. It makes you anxious and less capable of handling life's challenges. So the next time you're faced with a difficult situation, take a moment to breathe. Remind yourself that it's okay to be imperfect and ask, "How can I treat myself with more kindness right now?" This simple shift can make a world of difference. Remember the words of the Dalai Lama. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. This extends to yourself as well. Being kind to yourself isn't about being soft. It's about building inner strength and resilience. The journey to self-compassion isn't always easy, but it's one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself because it leads to a life of greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. Sixth lesson, living in the present. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This timeless wisdom from Buddha reflects a principle that the Stoics held dear, living in the present. But what does it truly mean to live in the present, and why is it so important? Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities or forgetting your past. It means fully engaging with the moment you're in right now. Think about how much of your day is spent either worrying about things that haven't happened yet or replaying situations that are already over. We often find ourselves mentally trapped in scenarios we can't change or control, and that's exhausting. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely said, "Confine yourself to the present." This is not just a call to be mindful, but an invitation to liberate yourself from the burdens of what could be or what might have been. So let's ask ourselves, how often do we really live in the moment? How much of our time is spent focused on the now, appreciating it, savoring it, or even just being aware of it? Consider the way we go through our daily routines. We rush through breakfast while thinking about work, or we drive to the office, barely aware of the roads we're taking, preoccupied with meetings, deadlines, and tasks. Even during moments that are supposed to be enjoyable, like a meal with family or a walk in the park, we might still be thinking about emails that need replies or bills that need paying. Living in the present means breaking free from this mental habit and giving your full attention to what you are doing right now, no matter how simple it may be. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" The best for yourself is often found in the simplicity of the moment, in the quiet satisfaction of simply being where you are. Let me share a story about a friend who was always overwhelmed by life. He was constantly thinking about the future, planning for it, worrying about it, and it was affecting his peace of mind. He would sit down to dinner but barely taste the food because his mind was somewhere else. He wasn't unhappy, but he wasn't truly happy either. He was just there. One day, after feeling particularly stressed, he decided to take a different approach. He made a promise to himself to spend 10 minutes each morning just sitting quietly, with no distractions, simply paying attention to his breathing and surroundings. At first it felt strange, but over time he started to notice a difference. He was calmer, more focused, and began to appreciate the little things around him. He realized that he had spent years rushing through life without ever really seeing it. This is the power of living in the present. It allows you to slow down, to breathe, and to experience life as it is, rather than how you think it should be. The Stoics believed that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about how much energy you spend worrying about what might happen. How many times have you dreaded an upcoming event, only to find out that it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be? Or how often do you find yourself replaying past mistakes, wishing you could go back and change them? Both of these habits keep you from living in the present, and they rob you of peace. As Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This is why the practice of being present is so powerful. It frees you from the anxiety of the future and the regret of the past. When you're truly present, you're not just passing through life, you're living it. But how do you begin to live more in the present, especially when life is so full of distractions? One way is to start small. Try to notice the details around you, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of your morning coffee, the laughter of a child, or even the texture of the chair you're sitting on. Take a moment to appreciate these small things. Another method is to practice mindfulness. You don't need to meditate for hours to be mindful. Even a few minutes of focused breathing can help ground you. The next time you find yourself caught in a storm of thoughts, try to bring your focus back to your breath. to the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. It's simple, but it's a way of anchoring yourself to the present moment. Modern life seems to push us in the opposite direction, doesn't it? With smartphones constantly buzzing, social media pulling our attention, and a culture that glorifies busyness, it's easy to get caught up in a cycle of constant distraction. But remember, the present moment is the only time you have control over. The past is beyond your reach, and the future is uncertain. What you can influence is what you do right now, and that is where your power lies. Marcus Aurelius said, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. Your peace of mind comes from focusing on your actions in the here and now, not from worrying about external opinions or events you can't control." So, I'd like to ask you, what would it mean for you to truly live in the present? What could you gain by letting go of the endless stream of worries and regrets that fill your mind? Could it be that you would find more joy, more clarity, and a greater sense of peace? Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring your goals or abandoning your plans. It means giving your full attention to the step you're taking right now. It's about finding balance, knowing when to plan for the future but also when to let those thoughts go so you can enjoy where you are. Ultimately, the message is simple but profound. Life is happening right now. The moments you are experiencing, whether they're filled with joy, pain, or just simple quiet, are what make up your life. Don't let them pass by unnoticed because you're too busy thinking about what's next. Living in the present doesn't mean you'll never have problems or stress, but it does mean you'll be better equipped to handle them. When you're focused on the now, you respond to challenges with a calm and clear mind because you're not weighed down by worries of what was or what might be. As you listen to this, I encourage you to take a deep breath. Let it out slowly and ask yourself, what is happening right now, and how can I be fully present in it? Let this simple question guide you throughout your day. If you can learn to live more in the present, you will find that life has more depth, more color, and more meaning. You'll realize that the simplest moments, like a warm cup of tea, a friendly conversation, or the sound of rain, can bring immense satisfaction when you're truly present to experience them. The past is gone, and the future will come in its own time. Right now, you have this moment. Make the most of it, and you'll find that enthusiasm for life doesn't come from what you wish could happen, but from what is happening right now, right here. But remember, the present moment is the only time you have control over. The past is beyond your reach, and the future is uncertain. What you can influence is what you do right now, and that is where your power lies. Marcus Aurelius said, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. Your peace of mind comes from focusing on your actions in the here and now, not from worrying about external opinions or events you can't control." So I'd like to ask you, what would it mean for you to truly live in the present? What could you gain by letting go of the endless stream of worries and regrets that fill your mind? Could it be that you would find more joy, more clarity, and a greater sense of peace? Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring your goals or abandoning your plans. It means giving your full attention to the step you're taking right now. It's about finding balance, knowing when to plan for the future, but also when to let those thoughts go so you can enjoy where you are. Ultimately, the message is simple but profound. Life is happening right now. The moments you are experiencing, whether they're filled with joy, pain, or just simple quiet, are what make up your life. Don't let them pass by unnoticed because you're too busy thinking about what's next. Living in the present doesn't mean you'll never have problems or stress, but it does mean you'll be better equipped to handle them. As you listen to this, I encourage you to take a deep breath. Let it out slowly and ask yourself, what is happening right now, and how can I be fully present in it? Let this simple question guide you throughout your day. If you can learn to live more in the present, you will find that life has more depth, more color, and more meaning. You'll realize that the simplest moments, like a warm cup of tea, A friendly conversation, or the sound of rain, can bring immense satisfaction when you're truly present to experience them. The past is gone, and the future will come in its own time. Right now you have this moment. Make the most of it, and you'll find that enthusiasm for life doesn't come from what you wish could happen, but from what is happening right now, right here. If you've made it this far, you're truly embracing the Stoic path. Drop a comment saying, "I am finding my enthusiasm," to show you're committed to this journey of self-discovery and growth. Stay with us, there's so much more to explore. 7th lesson, emotional self-mastery. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens, said Epictetus. This simple Stoic wisdom forms the foundation of emotional self-mastery. In a world that constantly throws unexpected challenges our way, mastering our emotions is not about suppressing how we feel, but about understanding and managing those emotions so they do not control us. Many people misunderstand this concept, thinking that self-mastery means not feeling emotions at all. But the truth is, we all feel anger, frustration, fear, and sadness. It's part of being human. The key is not to let these emotions dictate your actions or cloud your judgment. Think about how often a moment of anger has led to words you later regret, or how anxiety has stopped you from taking an opportunity that could have been life-changing. Self-mastery is the ability to pause, assess, and decide how to respond, rather than react impulsively. It's a skill that can transform not just how you handle difficult situations, but also how you experience life as a whole. Consider this. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, who had to manage an empire, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is a timeless reminder that we cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can always control how we respond. This idea is more relevant now than ever. We live in an era of constant stimulation, news alerts, social media, the pressure to succeed, and the unpredictability of daily life. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and let emotions like stress or frustration take the lead. But if you let every minor inconvenience or setback dictate your mood, it becomes impossible to focus, plan, or even enjoy the present moment. Emotional self-mastery means taking back that control, deciding that no matter what life throws at you, you will approach it with a sense of calm and composure. I once knew someone who struggled deeply with this. He was a talented individual, but his temper often got the better of him. A slight criticism would lead to an angry outburst, and a missed opportunity would throw him into days of despair. His inability to manage his emotions cost him friendships, job prospects, and even peace of mind. It wasn't until he learned about Stoic practices that things began to change. He started to reflect on how he reacted and noticed patterns, what triggered his anger, what caused his anxiety, and how he could interrupt those patterns. Instead of reacting immediately, he practiced taking a breath, thinking through the situation, and choosing a response that aligned with his values rather than his emotions at that moment. It wasn't easy, but over time he became more patient, more understanding, and most importantly, more in control of his own life. This is what emotional self-mastery looks like. Not the absence of emotion, but the ability to navigate emotions skillfully, like a sailor steering a ship through rough seas. Let's reflect for a moment. How do you typically react when things don't go as planned? Do you find yourself easily irritated or discouraged? And when you do, how does that affect the rest of your day, your decisions, or even your relationships? It's worth considering because the way we handle our emotions doesn't just affect us, it impacts everyone around us. The Stoics believed that by mastering our emotions, we could not only find personal peace, but also improve our interactions with others. As Seneca noted, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. In other words, letting emotions like anger, jealousy, or fear control, you can cause more harm than the situations that triggered those emotions in the first place. Learning to master your emotions is, therefore, not just a practice for your benefit, but also a way of creating a more positive, balanced environment for those around you. So, how do you begin to practice emotional self-mastery? One effective method is through mindfulness. You don't need to sit in silence for hours to be mindful. It can be as simple as taking a moment to check in with yourself when you feel overwhelmed. When you sense a strong emotion rising, whether it's anger, anxiety, or frustration, take a few deep breaths and observe it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this reaction helpful, or am I letting my emotions dictate my response? This simple practice can create a pause between stimulus and reaction, giving you the opportunity to choose a more thoughtful response. It's about creating a gap where you can think rather than just react. Another way is to remind yourself regularly of what is within your control. When faced with a situation that makes you feel helpless or frustrated, reflect on Marcus Aurelius's words. Focus on your mind and actions, not external events. By doing this, you remind yourself that while you cannot control other people's behavior or unexpected circumstances, you can always choose how to approach them. In modern life, the ability to master your emotions can be a game changer. Whether it's dealing with the pressures of work, navigating complicated relationships, or simply managing the stresses of daily life, emotional self-mastery equips you with the strength to face these challenges without letting them overwhelm you. Think about how much smoother your day would go if you didn't let a rude comment from a stranger ruin your mood, or how much more productive you would be if you didn't spend hours worrying about things that are beyond your control. Imagine how much healthier your relationships would be if you could approach disagreements with calmness and empathy rather than defensiveness. Emotional self-mastery doesn't mean you won't feel anger, sadness, or anxiety. It means you will no longer be at the mercy of these emotions. Instead, you can acknowledge them, understand them, and choose how to move forward. Aristotle once said, "Anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy." This illustrates that emotional self-mastery is not about shutting down your emotions, but rather about channeling them wisely. When you master your emotions, you gain clarity, and with that clarity comes better decision-making. You start to respond rather than react, to think ahead rather than act impulsively, and to understand the power of patience and perspective. So ask yourself, what is one emotion you struggle with the most? Is it anger, stress, impatience, or perhaps fear? How has that emotion affected your actions, your relationships, and your peace of mind? Recognizing this is the first step toward change. Once you know which emotions tend to derail you, you can start practicing strategies to handle them better. It might be through deep breathing, pausing before responding, or even writing down your thoughts to gain perspective. Remember, it's a practice, and like any skill, it takes time to develop. But the rewards of emotional self-mastery are immense. When you are not constantly pulled in different directions by your emotions, you find a sense of calm and control that is incredibly liberating. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start feeling like the captain of your own ship. Emotional self-mastery is not about becoming stoic in the sense of being detached or unemotional. It's about cultivating resilience and inner peace. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you have the tools to navigate through it with grace and composure. You might still feel stressed, frustrated, or sad at times, but those emotions will no longer have the power to control your actions. Instead, you will have the clarity and strength to choose how to respond. As you practice this, you'll notice that your outlook on life changes. You'll feel more grounded, more in control, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. So next time you find yourself overwhelmed, remember Epictetus's advice. Make the best use of what is in your power, and let the rest be. This simple shift can make all the difference, transforming how you see challenges and helping you find enthusiasm for life no matter the circumstances. Eighth lesson, the importance of simplicity. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. These words from Marcus Aurelius remind us that simplicity is not just about living with less, but about finding joy and contentment in the essentials. In a world that constantly encourages us to want more gadgets, more achievements, more money, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The Stoics believed that a simple life leads to inner peace because it allows us to focus on what is within our control and disregard what is not. So, why do we complicate our lives with endless pursuits and distractions? Perhaps it's because we think that having more will make us happier. But the reality is often the opposite. How many times have you felt overwhelmed by a cluttered desk, an overbooked schedule, or a mind full of worries? The more we accumulate, the more there is to manage, and sometimes it takes a toll on our peace of mind. Think about how simplicity could change the way you live. I once met a man who had a high-paying job, a big house, and all the latest tech gadgets. By most standards, he was successful. But despite all he had, he felt constantly stressed and exhausted, never finding the time to enjoy any of it. After a particularly tough period at work, he decided to make a change. He sold his big house, moved into a smaller, more manageable apartment, and began decluttering his life, not just his physical space, but also his daily routine. He stopped saying yes to every commitment and started prioritizing what truly brought him joy. He would spend less time on his phone, more time walking in the park, and reading books he had always wanted to read. The transformation was remarkable. He became calmer, happier, and more at peace. Not because he had more, but because he had less to worry about. This story is a clear example of how simplicity can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. It's not about having nothing. It's about making room for what really matters. In today's fast-paced world, we are bombarded with advertisements and messages that tell us to chase more success, more wealth, more possessions. But is that what truly brings contentment? Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This reminds us that the constant craving for more can be a trap. We may never be satisfied if we're always chasing the next big thing, whether it's a promotion, a new car, or the latest gadget. But simplicity teaches us to appreciate what we already have. It shifts our focus from acquiring more to enjoying the present moment, making the most of the small, simple pleasures that life offers, like a good meal, a warm cup of coffee, or a quiet evening spent with loved ones. So, let me ask you, what would your life look like if you embraced simplicity? Would you have fewer things, but more time to do what you love? Would you spend less time worrying about what you don't have and more time appreciating what you do? Embracing simplicity doesn't mean giving up on your ambitions or goals. It means cutting out the noise, focusing on what really matters, and creating space for things that bring genuine happiness. For example, instead of filling your calendar with endless meetings and social obligations, why not carve out some time each week to do something just for yourself, like taking a walk, practicing a hobby, or spending quality time with family? One of the most practical ways to start simplifying your life is to declutter, both physically and mentally. Start by going through your possessions. Are there things you've held on to that you no longer need or use? Let them go. You might be surprised at how freeing it feels to clear out unnecessary items. But it's not just about physical stuff. Mental clutter can be just as draining. How many times have you found yourself stressing over things you can't change or worrying about scenarios that haven't happened yet? The Stoics encourage us to focus on the present and to let go of what is beyond our control. By doing this, you clear mental space for peace, creativity, and joy. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This idea of minimizing wants is at the heart of simplicity. The fewer things you desire, the more content you will feel. The beauty of simplicity is that it allows you to reconnect with what is essential. You begin to notice the little things that bring you joy: a conversation with a friend, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of birds in the morning. These are the things that truly make life rich, but we often overlook them when we are caught up in the hustle and bustle of modern life. Simplicity teaches us to slow down, to be present, and to find satisfaction in the moment. It doesn't mean renouncing all material possessions, but it does mean being mindful of what you bring into your life and why. Are you buying something because it brings you joy or because you think it will make you appear successful to others? By asking yourself these questions, you can start to live more intentionally, focusing on what truly brings happiness rather than chasing after fleeting desires. Simplicity is not just about decluttering your home, it's about decluttering your life. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over superficiality, and peace over chaos. When you focus on fewer things, you can give them more of your attention and energy. This can lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment because you are no longer spreading yourself thin trying to keep up with everything. Take a look at your daily routine. Is there something you can simplify? Maybe it's reducing screen time, cutting back on commitments, or even just organizing your workspace. Small changes can make a big difference, and over time, you may find that you have more time, more peace, and more joy than you ever thought possible. Living simply can also help you build stronger relationships. When you are not constantly distracted by the pursuit of more, you can be more present with the people around you. You have the time to listen, to engage, and to build meaningful connections. Think about the last time you had a deep, uninterrupted conversation with someone you care about. Didn't it feel good? That's the kind of quality connection that simplicity allows you to cultivate. By focusing less on material things and more on experiences and relationships, you build a life that is rich in meaning and connection. As you go about your day, consider this. What can you simplify to make your life easier, happier, and more peaceful? Is there something you're holding on to that you no longer need? Is there a way to streamline your routine so you have more time for what matters most? Living a simple life doesn't mean you'll never have challenges, but it does mean that you'll be better equipped to handle them. When your mind is clear and your life is uncluttered, you can focus on finding solutions rather than getting overwhelmed. The Stoic lesson of simplicity isn't about minimalism for the sake of it. It's about creating a life that is purposeful, intentional, and free of unnecessary distractions. As you simplify, you create space for the things that truly matter, peace of mind, meaningful connections, and the joy of simply being present. So next time you find yourself overwhelmed by the chaos of life, take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself what you can simplify. Remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Very little is needed to make a happy life. Sometimes the best way to find enthusiasm for life is not by adding more, but by appreciating less. Thank you for taking the time to explore these 8 Stoic lessons with me. I hope they've given you new insights and practical ways to find more enthusiasm and balance in your daily life. Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or enduring life's challenges without feeling. It's about understanding what truly matters, focusing on what you can control, and making deliberate choices that lead to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. If any of these lessons spoke to you, I encourage you to start applying them today, whether it's letting go of what you can't change, embracing simplicity, or practicing self-discipline. I'd love to hear from you. Which Stoic lesson resonated the most with you? How do you plan to incorporate it into your daily routine? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's learn from each other's experiences. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in your life and hit the notification bell so you never miss future content on living a more thoughtful and empowered life. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay grounded, stay focused, and stay stoic.